Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto is an undercover Jounin part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Yuzushi Ogakure. Naruto accidentally opened an underground vault when he pressed his cut palm on a stone with a swirl. The young boy jumped when a doorway opened in front of him. Deciding that it would be better shelter than what he was already getting, he ventured into the vault. He came upon another swirl and touched his palm on the door again and opened a room that was full of scroll like a library. Out of curiosity, he approaches the first rack of scrolls, unintentionally triggering something else. Suddenly a voice appeared out of nowhere, and it told him that he was the last of the Uzumaki, and this was the legacy of the Uzumaki clans. With tears in his eyes and happy he found remnants of family even if they are gone, he pulls out the leftmost scroll on the lowest shelf and begins to read. The Sandame had taught him to at least read because the matron of the orphanage told him he wasn't allowed to learn. Clearing his mind, he opened the scroll. He began to read. Surprisingly, the material is easy to understand and he is drawn in by the contents. An hour later, he has finished around 10 of the 30 scrolls on the lowest shelf of the scroll rack. So chakra is what is molded and used in jutsu. This is used in the ink that makes Fuyonjutsu active. He found out that the bunker, so to speak, was self-sufficient. A bed and an adjacent full bathroom were connected to the main room, while a room that was an underground garden that had seals all around for transferring sunlight for the plants to grow to bringing water to the plants. He spent an hour eating a variety of fruits and vegetables in the garden before heading back to the library/main room to study some more with renewed vigor. He had found a scroll that explained the main hand seals that were used in jutsu, and he found a pair of gloves sealed in the scroll. After putting them on, the scroll explained that the gloves had seals on them that would track his progress. He slowly made each seal in the scroll and memorized them. Apparently the gloves would glow white after a successful cycle of the hand seals. Each time Naruto had a limited time to do it before they reset. When his hand seal speed was up to speed, the gloves would turn entirely white. Naruto spent an entire day working on the hand seals. A week later, he had successfully brought his hand seal speed up to the point where his hands moved through the seals at a speed that was inhuman. He had also found a jutsu called the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He had quickly mastered it since it only had one seal. Time skip, 6 months. Several months had passed, and he had mastered several things. He had successfully mastered writing, drawing basic seals, and the Kage Bunshin. Apparently when a jutsu was mastered, no hand seals were required. He had gone from a dozen of clones to a small platoon of 500 to 600 clones. He had learned that the clones had given him information on their dispersal. He used that to his advance and read 1 to 10 racks of racks. He had found several taijutsu had determined a combination of the styles into one would better benefit him. He had not mastered the new style he created, but with the clones who worked on it every morning, he neared mastery of the style. He had created a routine that used his clones to learn various jutsu, his new taijutsu, several ninjutsu, and genjutsu. He had added several jutsu to his repertoire of various types. He had mastered several C-rank elemental jutsu from all 5 elements. His ability to use all 5 types of elements was probably due a family trait he had determined. His clones had sparred with him every morning and improved his reflexes and reaction times. He also had created a training exercise that trained his eyes to pick up the smallest movement. He had ventured to the surface and had practiced the training exercise in the forest that surrounded the ruins. He had avoided the attacks of various animals successfully. Naruto sighed happily as he went to bed and thought about his accomplishments. 4 years later. Naruto was now 8.5 years old, but in the small time period had finished every scroll in the room. His Fuyonjutsu was flawless, as was his taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, and kenjutsu. He had picked up kenjutsu when he found a scroll on the art. He had found a room of weapons which he sealed into a scroll. He had learned to use every weapon with the help of shadow clones, but he had chosen a pair of custom-made hand size. The shaft of the weapons measured a foot in length. The blades extended from the shaft to about 6 inches before curving sharply and going back to the shaft. The top of the shaft had a spear point. He had found that he could connect the weapons end to end, and it turned into a 4-foot weapon. He spent his time mastering this weapon in its 2 modes. He decided to make a few companions using Fuyonjutsu. He had sent his clones out to find scrap metal which littered the ruins on the surface. He had used the scrap and a multitude of seals to create mechanical creatures that resembled a dragon, a scorpion, and a crab. These hulking machines could be ridden as they moved on their own with Naruto's assistance. They had their own chakra systems, a chakra absorption seal that siphoned chakra from jutsu used against it, repair seals, and reconstruction seals that helped itself put itself back together if it were obliterated. Naruto looked at the place he called home for almost 5 years before sealing at the scrolls, the weapon scroll, his creations, and his notes, for several jutsu he had created or were working on into seals built into a belt he had engraved seals into. He slapped down a seal that would let him return once a similar seal was put down somewhere else. He dressed in a fresh pair of clothing which he had found years ago with several other outfits. He looked at the bunker again before headed towards Konoha. In Konoha, the Sandaime sighed again. Today was the anniversary of the day Naruto was run out of Konoha. Since the people responsible were executed as an example, no one dared celebrate openly, in fear of being sent to Ibiki. He looked over more paperwork before glancing at a picture of the fourth Hokage. Minato, I'm sorry for failing you in Kushina, he said to no one. He stamped another paper before he decided it was time for a distraction. Damn you Jiraiya and your wonderful books, he whispered as he pulled out an orange book. At the gates, the gate guards, Kamizuki Izumo and Kotetsu Higain, sighed as they stood there again. I'm so bored, droned Higain as his partner rolled his eyes. You say that every 2 minutes. You could take the Jounin exams and be on missions that aren't boring, said Izumo. You know I'm too lazy to do that. Plus, gate guard is a job that requires no effort, said Higain, grinning. Izumo turned away, mumbling about lazy chunins. Higain poked his partner and pointed to the horizon, and both their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. It was a young boy wearing an Yuzu forehead protector with a red and black outfit that had the kanji for Seal Master on the torso. His belt looked like it held a multitude of riches. As the boy reached Izumo and Higain, they saw he wore his head long. Some of his hair spilled over the hideate and covered both of his eyes. This is Konoha, correct? Asked the boy not once looking up. Yes, said the stunned pair. Could you take me to see the Hokage? I haven't been here for a while, so things may have changed. The two Chunin nodded numbly and escorted the young boy to the Hokage tower where the Sandaime sat reading his smut. Hokage-sama, a young boy with an Yuzu hideate is asking to see you, said the secretary. Let him in. The Sandaime sat up at the mention of an Yuzu headband and hid his smut. How can I help you? He asked when the young boy was seated in front of him. Gigi, I'm hurt. I remembered you and you forgot me? I'm so sad, said the boy as the Sandaime's eyes widened at the affectionate name. Only one person called me that except my grandson. Naruto? He asked hopefully. Naruto Uzumaki, the prince of Uzushiogakure at your service, said Naruto, grinning as he pushed the hair out of his eyes and looked at the stunned Hokage. Did you say the prince? Asked the Hokage. I am the last of the Uzumaki clan, am I not? I found an underground bunker there in which I lived in and mastered all of its secrets. Begin from the top, said Sarutobi. Naruto started the tale and told him of what had happened for the 4.5 years he had disappeared. The Hokage paled and called in Guy, Kakashi, Kurenai, and Yugao to his office. I need you four to test this boy's abilities in your specialized fields and give me a report of his skills, said the Sandaime. The four looked at the boy and their eyes widened upon sight of the Yuzu headband. Naruto Uzumaki, at your service, said Naruto. On a random training ground, Naruto, the Hokage and the 4 Jounin, well, Yugao is a Jounin when not in A and B uniform, stood, ready to begin. Yugao, Kakashi, Kurenai, Guy, you all will all test his skills one at a time, said the Hokage before Naruto held up his hand. I would like all of them to fight me as a team. Don't worry, I'll even the odds, said Naruto. The 4 Jounin began to argue but stopped to gape in awe when Naruto unsealed 3 hulking metal mechanical beasts. These are my creations powered by seals and sentient beasts that act on their own until they are immobilized by seals or told to stop by me. Good enough? Asked Naruto. The 4 Jounin nodded and got into their stances. Naruto unsealed his weapon of choice and attached them together at the ends before resting one end on the ground and motioned for the Jounin to attack him. Guy charged in first, closely followed by the other Jounin. Naruto quickly secured his bladed staff to his back and fought Guy. Kurenai tried to cast a genjutsu on Naruto to distract him but found herself in a multi-layer genjutsu to her horror. Guy began to unseal the gates as Naruto began to gain an edge. Guy sweated as he charged in but looked at Naruto in awe when he dispatched him with a mere palm strike to the chest while dodging the other attacks. I surrender. Naruto-kun's flames of youth are greater than mine, shouted Guy as he stood by the Hokage. Kurenai had freed herself and Kakashi closed the gap between himself and Naruto as he used a small jutsu to try and pull Naruto into the earth, but the dragon beast had blocked his path. The remaining 3 dodged the mechanical beasts while trying to get close. Naruto grinned as he announced the name of his jutsu before he blasted it toward Kakashi. The Cyclopean Jounin's visible eye widened as he recognized the jutsu. Wind Dragon Jutsu, he whispered as he dodged the jutsu. He pulled up his hideate that hit a Sharingan before engaging Naruto again. Raiton Lightning Pulse! Cried Kakashi, trying to shock Naruto. Naruto grinned as he stood still as the jutsu him. The 3 remaining Jounin looked in shock, awe, and a bit of terror as the jutsu collided with Naruto and disappeared. I am not a seal's master for nothing. I have created a seal that absorbs all types of elemental jutsu. Futon, earth-rending wind blades, said Naruto. A blast of wind erupted from Naruto that ripped up the earth, as it plowed toward Kakashi, who tried to use an earth jutsu to absorb the attack in vain. To his displeasure, the wind jutsu destroyed his earth wall and Kakashi dodged, panting. Hokage-sama, I concede. His ninjutsu is beyond my level, said Kakashi as he limped off the battlefield after he sprung his ankle from dodging the wind attack. Kurenai and Yugao tried to double-team Naruto, with Kurenai casting a genjutsu over him and Yugao attacking, but they were stunned to find the Naruto in front of them was a clone. Yugao's blade had pierced it, and it erupted into smoke. Kage Bunshin? Exclaimed the remaining Jounin. Never leave your back unguarded, said a voice behind him. Kurenai found she was unable to move. She looked down and found a large seal on the ground beneath her that immobilized her. I concede. Naruto's genjutsu is fantastic. Yugao watched in fascination as Naruto pulled the double-ended side staff from his back and spun it in front of him. Your move, Jounin-san, he said. Yugao fought to the best of her ability, and Naruto was still a step ahead of her. She accidentally overextended a thrust, and Naruto had snared her blade and pulled it out of her hands. I concede. I have been bested by a master, she said to the Hokage. The Jounin and Hokage looked in awe at Naruto as he sealed all his creatures and weapon up. What level is he? Asked Sarutobi. He is beyond Genin level, Hokage-sama. He has chakra reserves that make yours look like a Genin's, Hokage-sama. No offense. He casted a multi-layer genjutsu that is even hard for a Jounin to perform, Hokage-sama. His kenjutsu is on the level of a master, Hokage-sama. So what level do you place yourself, Naruto-kun? Asked the Hokage. I don't know. I wear resistance seals that I haven't released for 4 years, said Naruto as he revealed the seal on his chest and limbs. Yugao and Kurenai blushed upon seeing his muscular body. I also have discovered the dead demon's seal on my stomach and have made contact with the demon. A year ago, our chakra pools have merged also with other things. Naruto released the seal and the adults gaped at a 20-year-old man. The merger has also sped up my growth. I'm physically 22, Gigi-san, he said. I get Jiraiya to certify your Fuionjutsu tomorrow, said the stunned Hokage. If I may, could I ask for the Jounin rank? Asked Naruto. You're beyond Jounin level. You're around high A and BU. Why not apply with them? Asked Yugao. I prefer to not have to wear a mask 24/7, Yugao-san. I may take that offer in a few years though, said Naruto. Why Jounin though, Naruto-kun? Asked Sarutobi. I wish to take up a Genin team and teach them. Anyways, doesn't every Hokage take a Genin team? Asked Naruto as Sarutobi smiled. I see your dream to become Hokage has not diminished, the Hokage said. The next day, Naruto was presented with a Jounin vest and a Konoha Hideate. Naruto used the Yuzu one as a belt and tied the Konoha one around his forehead. Naruto was given the mission to find and bring Jiraiya to Konoha to certify his Fuionjutsu. Naruto was given a list of places of where he was usually at. Naruto scanned the list, shaking his head. Jiraiya of the Sannin? More like Ero-Sannin. I think I will call him that from here forth, haha, thought Naruto. He found Jiraiya in Hot Spring Country, spying on the fairer gender from a tree with a telescope, while he quickly scribbled down notes and sketches for who knows what. Smirking, he crept up behind Jiraiya, who was too concentrated on peeping to notice the looming threat behind him. Hey Yaro-Sannin! Shouted Naruto, scaring Jiraiya off his branch and into the women's side of the bath. Naruto laughed as he heard the Toad Sannin plead for his life as women approached him with various pointy objects they produced from thin air. The sounds of metal meeting flesh, girly screams, and the general cry of beat the pervert was in the air. The Sannin was flung outside the fence and landed at Naruto's feet. He stood up as if the beating had never occurred and brushed off the dirt on his clothes before turning to face Naruto. Kid, what was that for? I had a good view and you had to spoil it, said Jiraiya whining. Naruto decided to play innocent and asked him what his name was. I am the great Gamma Sannin Jiraiya, said Jiraiya, hopping left and right on one foot. For a Sannin, you are the lamest person I've ever met, Ero-Sannin, he said flatly, causing Jiraiya to fall over. For your information, boy, I am the writer of the best book ever, said Jiraiya, showing Naruto the Ika Ika book in his pocket. Ah, Kakashi-san writes that smut you write. Let me tell you, Ero-Sannin, I consider that book to be trash. I could write something better, said Naruto. You are not even a Genin yet, are you? Asked Jiraiya. I forgot to introduce myself. I am Naruto Uzumaki, Prince of Uzushiogakure and a level 10 seals master. I came to ask you to check my seal work and bring you back to Konoha, said Naruto. You a seals master? Kid Naruto. There has not been a seals master since the destruction of Uzushiogakure. Jiraiya's eyes bulged upon seeing the Yuzu Hideate tied around Naruto's waist. If you are so sure, care to check my seal work, Ero-Sannin? Asked Naruto. Stop calling me that. Sure, let's see your seal work, said Jiraiya. Naruto showed him the mechanical creatures he made. Jiraiya's eyes bulged upon seeing the seals involved. Naruto, Where did you learn these seals? They have been lost for decades, said the toad Sannin. I was kicked out of Konoha at 4 and found my way to the ruins of Yuzu and learned Fuionjutsu and a multitude of other things over 4.5 years, said Naruto, eyeing Jiraiya. Jiraiya turned to Naruto and nodded. You are definitely a seal's master. Even the Yondaime wasn't this good, said Jiraiya. The 4th Hokage? He was a seal's master? Yeah, he was my student after all, said Jiraiya, grinning. The two men headed to Konoha where Jiraiya certified Naruto's Fuionjutsu skills in front of the Hokage. Naruto grinned and left to go eat somewhere. So Naruto has been through a shitload from the council? Asked Jiraiya solemnly. The Sandaime nodded. Naruto-kun has overcome it though. I'm glad. By the way, what rank is he? Asked Jiraiya casually. Officially or realistically? What do you mean by that? Pick one. Just give me both. The Sandaime grinned and readied the camera under his desk. Officially he's a Jounin, but realistically, he could best you, your teammates, and me without breaking a sweat, said the Sandaime. Jiraiya's mouth dropped as Sarutobi took a picture and handed it to him. Here, for your photo collection, joked the Hokage. Jiraiya had searched around for Naruto and finally found him slurping down ramen at Ichiraku's ramen stand. The cook and his daughter stood watching the bowls pile up in shock. The old man had waterfall tears going down his face. Kami has answered my prayers. We will be rich from just one of his meals, thought Ichiraku Tuchi. I spotted Jiraiya and bowed to him. Jiraiya-sama, what can we get you, she asked. A miso ramen please. Jiraiya sat down next to Naruto. Naruto, the Sandaime told me about your rank. Why didn't you become an ANBU? You are skilled enough to be one, asked Jiraiya as he muttered a quiet itadakimasu. My dream is to become the Hokage, plus I don't like the mask ANBU has to wear. It's too secretive for me, said Naruto, finishing his 40th bowl before he called it quits. He paid Tuchi an ayam and was about to leave when Tuchi called out to him. Naruto, come back anytime. Naruto grinned and gave him a thumbs up. Don't worry, Tuchiaji-san. I can't eat ramen all the time, but I will swing by to have a few bowls now and then, said Naruto. Jiraiya looked at Naruto as he disappeared from sight. Jiraiya-sama, do you know Naruto-san? Asked Ayam. Yeah, and he's more than meets the eye, said Jiraiya before he finished off his bowl. Naruto had wandered off into the forest of death after he had gotten bored of wandering around Konoha. Apparently the place was filled with freakishly large man-eating creatures. Naruto climbed a nearby tree and leaned against the trunk of the tree after he put down seals around the tree's base, if he fell. The sound of a kunai whistling through the air toward him woke him several hours after he fell asleep. Gaki, aren't you too young to be here? I admire your bravery, but it's forbidden for any shinobi lower than a chunin to be in this training ground, said a feminine voice. She jumped on the branch where the boy was and found to her surprise he had vanished. I believe that was unnecessary. Isn't attacking a fellow Jounin and a loyal Konoha shinobi a crime? Asked Naruto, appearing in Anko's face, hanging upside down from a branch above his resting place. I was having a good dream too. Alright, stop with the jokes. Who are you? Asked Anko. Isn't it impolite to ask for someone's name before telling them your own? He replied back. The name's Anko Mitarashi. So what's your name, Jounin-san? Asked Anko in sarcastic tone. Naruto Uzumaki, 10th level seals master and fellow Jounin at your service. Anko gasped at the name. The kid's promotion to Jounin was sudden, and from the stories that Kurenai and Yugao told her from their spars with Naruto, his true strength was beyond that of a Jounin's. Kurenai and Yugao told me about you. So what are you doing in here? Not many Jounin would even come in the forest of death on a mere whim, said Anko. I wanted to take a nap and brush up on some training. That's amusing. Fall asleep before you could start? No, it was my training. To learn to distinguish enemies and the sounds they might make in an environment where the visibility is limited. The fact that I fell asleep just makes it more challenging. Interesting, how about a spar? Here or on the ground? Naruto's answer came in the form of a kunai launched the direction of his face. Naruto expertly dodged the kunai and summoned a few clones. Kage Bunshin without hand seals? That requires the mastery of the jutsu, thought a bewildered Anko. Naruto unsealed some seal paper he had on him and quickly made an immobilization seal as his clones distracted Anko. Hey boss, can you hurry up? This crazy woman tried to get her snakes to eat us, shouted a clone as it dodged a snake that Anko sent towards him. Finished. Seal. Shouted Naruto as he switched with the nearest clone and applied the seal on her with a single fluid motion. Anko was having fun dispelling the clones. They were challenging to hit, but that made it more enjoyable. She was about to impale a clone where the sun don't shine when she found herself unable to move. The clone that was about to be impaled glared at her before dispelling with his fellow clones. I win, Anko-chan, he whispered into her ear. I was surprised you could keep up with my clones. Not even Kakashi and the other Jounin I faced had enough stamina. Anko shook with rage as Naruto sat down in front of her and unsealed a box full of dango. Yummy. This stuff is good. I should eat it more often, said Naruto as he gauged Anko's reactions. He laughed before removing the kunai from her hand and unsealing her. She almost fell over, but Naruto quickly caught her and offered her some of her favorite treat. Anko greedily ate the dango given to her as Naruto asked about her. Naruto learned she was a special jounin, not a jounin yet. She worked in the tea and department for the NBU. She liked dango and sweet bean soup. She was the student of the traitorous snake Sannin who left Konoha because he wasn't given the position of Hokage, and had marked Anko with a seal that hurt her body. Can I see the seal, Anko-chan? Asked Naruto gently. He knew she was touchy about the subject given her sensei was a traitor. Anko showed Naruto the seal and Naruto quickly sketched the seal. If I could remove it, would you let me? Asked Naruto softly. Anko perked up as she grabbed Naruto by the shoulders and shook him while asking if he could do that. So dizzy, said Naruto, who had swirls in his eyes. Anko stopped shaking him and waited for him to snap out of the dizzy spell. Yeah, but I need time to study the seal. Does it have any more forms? There's a second form, but it hurts to use. It spreads across my body in black tendrils that cover my body from head to toe. Naruto wrote the information down and with a quick goodbye, he left Anko alone. Maybe he could break the seal, thought Anko hopefully. Naruto headed home to the apartment he rented to study the seal. He dissected the seal into its various components, and was working on breaking the seal but was ultimately interrupted by a knock on his door. A shinobi in ANBU uniform stood in his doorway. The Hokage asked for your presence, said the tiger-masked ANBU. Tell the Hokage I will be there shortly, Tora-san, he said. The ANBU nodded before disappearing. Naruto sighed as he locked his apartment door and headed to the Hokage tower. The Sandaime was present, and asked him to follow him to the hospital. I have a hunch on your genealogy, but I need some proof. Could you give a small blood sample? Asked the Hokage. Naruto looked the man who was like his grandfather and nodded. He bit his thumb and asked for a small vial which he filled. The Sandaime smiled as Naruto waved goodbye and left. He could finally confirm Naruto's lineage, give him his inheritance and rub it into the council's face. He would enjoy Naruto and the council's reactions. A week later, Naruto had made a discovery on the seal and worked on finishing the counter seal to destroy the vile chakra source that kept it connected to Anko. Again, he was interrupted by the tiger-masked ANBU member. The Hokage has asked for your presence in the council chambers, said the ANBU. Naruto locked his apartment, and was escorted to the chambers where Sarutobi stood in wait for Naruto. Naruto was told to go in and walked in and stood by the Sandaime. I have found the heir to the Namikaze and Uzumaki clans. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, said Hiruzen. The council gasped while Naruto was hard to read. Old man, you knew of my lineage but chose to keep it from me, asked Naruto slowly, the anger in his voice clear. Your parents asked that it be so until you reached at least Chunin rank, or the age of 16, said the Sandaime, giving Naruto 2 scrolls. Naruto unsealed both scrolls with his blood, knowing to do so after learning about them in his studies. The first scroll contained letters from his parents. Dear Naruto, this is your dad, Minato Namikaze. I'm truly sorry for the burden I have put on you by sealing the Kyuubi into you as an infant. You have the right to be angry at me, but remember I love you no matter what. I will not be here to guide you, but I am always with you in your heart. I got to go now. Your father. Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime. Dear Naruto-kun. This is your mother, Kushina Uzumaki. I never wanted your life to be like this, but I write this as you are coming from my womb. Breathe, Kushina. I may not make it through, but know that I love you unconditionally, and will always love you even if I am no longer present to hold and comfort my baby boy. Don't worry, I hit your father a few times for giving you this burden without giving you a choice. Your mother. Kushina Uzumaki, Princess of Yuzushiogakyure. So I was right about being the Prince of Yuzu, whispered Naruto as tears streamed from his covered eyes. The council was shocked at the revelation. The shinobi side were either ashamed of their inaction or actions that caused Naruto to be kicked out of Konoha. Inoichi and Hayashi were the best friends of the Yondaime, and they had taken an oath to protect his only son or daughter. They had failed miserably. The members of the civilian council had either been ashamed or were screaming about how the demon child couldn't be the son of the Yondaime. Their arguments ceased upon seeing the confirmation of his status. The other scroll holds the key to your home, and jutsu scrolls from your parents, Naruto. I'm sure they would be proud, said Sarutobi. Naruto hugged his grandfather, but the happy mood turned sour when the civilian council tried to marry him off to their daughters. You fools! The CRA can only be implemented by the heir or heiress. In addition, they have until their 21st birthday to marry a minimum of 7 women. I am not obligated to marry anyone's daughters. I am wary of this council and I will do it my way, growled Naruto. You insolent brat. You may be the clan head of 2 clans, but you answer to the council, snarled the fat merchant. You stupid buffoon. I am a shinobi, and as such I only answer to the Hokage. This is a dictatorship, not a democracy. Naruto replied back, shutting up, said civilian council member. Naruto-san, said Hamura and Koharu, trying to use their silver tongues to persuade Naruto. You are young, and so we recommend that you allow us to choose one wife for you to guide you. I am considered an adult as soon as this headband worn on my head. I will make my own decisions, so stay out of my clan's business. Naruto had moved out of his apartment into his new home. He quickly set up his study and began to work on Anko's seal once again. Eureka! He exclaimed as he finished decrypting the seal's secrets. He set the seal aside and put a note on top of the paperwork to talk to Anko. He unsealed the folder of seals and jutsu he had been in the process of creating. He had seals from the basic repair seal that was created by him to repair his mechanical creatures from scrap up to his unfinished seal that would give the user a second chakra pool, which was created by siphoning off excess chakra from the body. Naruto worked late into the night on various projects while he thought of the Ciari that he was under. I don't have to worry about that for a while, said Naruto, dismissing the idea. The next morning Naruto went to find Anko and informed her of his discovery. The snake using Jounin smothered him in a hug that almost suffocated him. She only let go when Kurenai, who was eating with her friend, pointed out Naruto was turning blue. Sorry Naruto-kun, she said, barely hiding a blush. Naruto-kun, is it now? Asked Kurenai as her friend glared at her. Meet me at the Namake's estate in 2 hours. We'll take that seal off in no time, said Naruto, who miraculously recovered from his near-death experience. 2 hours later, Anko tapped her foot impatiently as she waited for Naruto to show. She jumped as the gates opened and Naruto came through them. You live here? Asked Anko incredulously. Yeah, I'm the Yandame's child, it turns out, he said as he motioned for her to follow. The gates closed behind her as she entered the mansion. A picture of a pregnant Kushina and Minato standing next to her adorned the stairwell. Anko hadn't realized until now that Naruto looked just like the Yandame minus the whisker marks. Anko looked around in awe as she was led to a room that had a giant seal drawn on the floor. The seal on the floor prevents anyone to tamper with the unsealing process when it starts, explains Naruto. It's kind of like a barrier of sorts. Naruto asked Anko to undress from waist up as he applied the ink for the seal over her whole upper body. Seal! Shouted Naruto as he pressed his palm against the cursed seal on Anko's neck. The seal he drew glowed blue as it fought the cursed seal's black tendrils. The blue chakra won after half an hour's time. Anko gritted her teeth as the area where the seal was burned as if the seal was lit on fire. The seal gave off a sickly black glow before it faded from her neck. Naruto removed his chakra from the seal and watched it crumble. He helped a shaky Anko redress, with his eyes closed of course. Anko had left the Namake's estate feeling like a new woman. Her only link to Orochimaru was finally gone, and she was grateful. She would find a way to repay on Naruto Uzumaki Namake's. Meanwhile, Mei Terumi was in the Sandame's office asking for some help in the bloodline wars against Yagura, who become a tyrant, and started killing off bloodline users. Sandame called for Naruto, who appeared in his office dressed in Jounin uniform. Naruto, this is an S-rank mission. You have the opportunity to refuse now if you choose, said Sarutobi. Mei-chan's country is turmoil due to injustice. I will do everything in my power to help. I accept this mission, Jiji-san, Naruto said. Naruto and Mei traveled towards Mist in silence. Naruto mentally ran over his inventory that was stored in seals on his belt while Mei took time to scrutinize the young Jounin. The young looked barely 10 years old. How in the hell did he make Jounin at such a pre-adolescent age? His attire spoke volumes of the boy. The item of clothing the youth wore that drew her eyes was his belt. The belt was made of durable cloth that had metal plates sewn on. On closer inspection, it was easy to see the work of Master Seal's master was engraved on the metal plates. Does my belt interest you? I never known anyone that was interested in such a seal-covered article. This is one of many Fuinjutsu projects I have done to make my life easier, said Naruto, smiling. Mei was startled by the sound of his voice. The smile on his face spoke volumes about him. It was like a mask. It showed a happy facade that hid a more dreadful truth. Enough about myself. It is nothing compared to the pain of the country you fight to liberate from a despot, said Naruto. Mei nodded as she told him of her history. I'm an orphan. My parents were killed during the earlier years of the Bloodline Wars, Mei explained. My entire family died that day, but I will not let their deaths be in vain. My parents died in a similar tragedy. I'm sure you have heard of the Kyuubi and its attack on our village. I had been kept in the dark, but it turns out my father died sealing the Kyuubi into me and my mother died during childbirth, said Naruto as he gazed into the horizon. I'm sorry. Don't be. I am probably worse of knowing, since my father is the famous Yellow Flash. Mei's eyes opened. The fourth Hokage had annihilated an entire platoon of ninja with a single jutsu. He was the only person in the bingo books with an SS rank and the order to run on sight. They soon neared the rebel camps, and Mei waved to the sentry who let them pass. Taicho, you have returned, said a Jounin. Yes, and Konoha has lent us their best. Meet Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, a Jounin. The gathered ninja looked at Naruto either in awe or disbelief. I call BS on this kid. There's no way he is a Jounin. The disbeliever was cured of his skepticism when Naruto appeared in front of him, his face in the Jounins. The seated Jounin sweated bullets as a kunai was pointed at the organ that made him a man. Underestimation of any ninja leads to your own demise. The cold edge of Naruto's voice shocked the more experienced Jounin. I've been through hell and back in the first 4 years of my life. Pray that you will never see the horrors of prejudice and hatred that I have experienced firsthand, said Naruto. He removed his kunai and the Jounin breathed a sigh of relief as several Jounin asked themselves what horrors the boy had been through. The main army is here and they have built a fortress outside of the village about 2 miles from the south entrance of Mist. It is filled with the rations of the main army. With a single swoop, we refill our own coffers and empty theirs. A hungry ninja is more likely to rebel, said Mei as she pointed the fortress's location on a map on the table she was standing at. Mei-san, how many ninja are stationed there? Asked a Jounin. Approximately 250, give or take 50 ninja. Our spies have reported a group of support ninja have arrived there a week ago. It seems like we will be fighting uphill. This is a disadvantage. I have a plan to ambush the ninja that come downhill to attack us, said Naruto. All eyes turned focused on him. None of the ninja present had taken into account the fortress was on a hill. I can make a few dozen of seals that will release a volley of kunai or shuriken sealed inside it when motion from a single direction is detected within range. It will thin their numbers and make their platoon easier to take down. A group of injured shinobi is easier to kill than unscathed ones. Naruto pulled out the seal he was talking about. Projectiles ranging from Saban to Fuma shuriken can be sealed here. Naruto pointed to the center of the seal, indicating the containment part of the seal. The sensor is programmed to unleash the sealed weapons in the direction that the sensor is aimed. Any foreign chakra that is not recognized will trigger the seal. He pulled out another seal. This is another seal that seals jutsu instead. Mei and her commanders looked at him in awe as he explained that jutsu of any element from any rank could be stored into the seal, and the sensor triggered its release. Naruto, how many of those seals can you make in 6 hours? Ideally, the attack on the fortress will be in the morning. The sun will rise from behind us and serve to blind our enemies, said Mei. Depends on the quantity you want me to make. By myself I can make 24 seals in 6 hours. With shadow clones I can mass produce enough of these seals to wipe out a good number of the shinobi in that bunker, said Naruto casually. I would like you to make several hundred of both seals. 200 to 300 each will be sufficient, said Mei. At dusk the Mei, Naruto, and the rebel shinobi woke to begin their assault on the stronghold. Mei looked at the sheer amount of seals Naruto had made. 400 of both seals and 800 in total were finished in 6 hours. Naruto had created some shadow clones and, while the darkness still covered their presence, had them spread the seals out. The top of the hill was filled with seals. The weapon seals were mixed in with the jutsu seals. The jutsu seals were mostly filled with futon, katon, and doton jutsu, but several seals were filled with suiton jutsu. After the seals were laid, Mei waited until the sun began to rise behind them and gave Naruto the signal to acquire the attention of the enemy. The enemy ninja were woken from their beds when several smoke bombs found their way into their barracks. The gates of the fortress were unfastened and the heavy doors hit the sides of the fortress with a dull thud as its occupants flood through the doorway to the field. There at the bottom of the hill, boys. Let's get in range and kill the Jounin who was rallying his compatriots was suddenly killed by Naruto's clones. Shadow clones! Shouted a random ninja. As they advanced on the booby-trapped ground, Naruto's clones dispelled. With a mass amount of chakra smoke blinding the rebels' enemies, Naruto grinned as he released the weapon seals. Confusion erupted among the enemy shinobi. The smoke had cleared, revealing large numbers of the mist ninja had been either killed on impact, mortally wounded and currently dying, or grievously wounded. Those who had not been affected shrank back from the front of the field, retreating onto the part of the field where the jutsu seals had been laid. Kai! The retreating shinobi were greeted with stream after stream of jutsu, further thinning the number of unscathed ninja that had come to attack them. A small number, around 50 to 60, had managed to pass the traps unharmed but were immediately cut down by the rebels. As the last of the seals ran out of chakra and turned into ash, Mei and her shinobi troops entered the stronghold. Its leader, a large shinobi, rippling with muscle, gathered the last of the troops for a last stand inside the fort. Naruto led the charge and unsealed his double-ended side staff and locked blades with the leader. Mei had cleared the way for her comrades, melting their enemies with lava. The rebels had subdued or killed the rest of the troops garrisoned inside. They gathered around to find Naruto still locked in a heated battle with the last shinobi guarding the fortress. The leader was an old veteran, if the long scar running across his face over his right eye gave any indication. I refuse to give in and I will fight to the death to protect Mist from bloodline scum like you. he shouted as he raised his Zanbato and clashed blades with Naruto's scythe. Damn, he's serious, and even with the skills I learned, his experience in the battlefield exceeds mine, thought Naruto. I will have to release one resistance seal to outclass him. Retreating a few steps, Naruto quickly turned down the level of the main resistance seal on his chest from 50 to about 45. Redoubling his efforts, Naruto used his edge to scan for openings while dodging the large Zanbato. He wears a thick layer of armor, but it seems like his calves are uncovered. Like they say, the taller your enemy is, the harder he or she falls. I have more experience than a wannabe Jounin like you has. You are outclassed, Gaki, shouted the Jounin. Oh yeah? Let's see you outclass this team, said Naruto. He ducked under the large blade and created a clone behind the Jounin, with whom he switched places. The Jounin laughed at the move, shouting that he was only delaying his own doom, but suddenly fell to his knees. Blood spurted from 2 horizontal wounds on his calves, the skin was cut through as well as the muscle. White bone was visible through the critical injury the young Jounin from Konoha had inflicted. I refuse to fall here. Suetun, rotating razor funnel. A water spout formed around Naruto as the column of water spun at high speeds. Naruto! No! Shouted Mei as tears streamed down her face. No one has lived through this jutsu, Nanny? The waterspout has come to a grinding halt as it began to turn into a column of wind. Naruto stopped the jutsu by stopping its motion, thought various Jounin looking at the pillar of wind in awe. Futon, shredding winds! Shouted a voice from within the wind tornado. The spinning wind spun swifter as blades composed of pure wind flew from the tornado and began to revolve around the injured Jounin. As the whirlwind dissipated from around Naruto, it grew around the Jounin that had used a Suetun jutsu on him. Cries of pain arose from the center of the cyclone. The clear twister of wind began to turn red and soon filled with bits of flesh, muscle, and bone. The windstorm calmed down as suddenly as it started. Every Jounin in sight turned green or gagged at the remains of Naruto's opponent. A bloody carcass lay surrounded by massive quantities of blood and bits of fleshy tissue and bone splinters. The body's limbs and torso were torn open by the wind jutsu, revealing bones tinted the color of blood. The man's skull, or what remained of it, was a hideous sight to gaze upon. The man's face was contorted in horror, the remaining flesh and muscle frozen in a look of terror. Half the skull was exposed, revealing an empty eye socket, with the remains of his eye resting in its destroyed socket. The other half had skin hanging from the bone, like tattered clothing. The other intact eye had a glassy look to it, staring blankly. The rebels looked at Naruto, who had taken a knee, breathing hard. Mei and several Jounin rushed to his side when he collapsed in convulsions. He's in shock. Take him back to the base camp. Everyone else, raid the food stocks and bring anything of value back to the camp. Raze the place to the ground. Leave corpses for the vultures, shouted the Jounin Mei had left in charge. Meanwhile, Naruto was treated for shock in a makeshift medic tent. Mei held Naruto's hand as the fledgling Jounin from Konoha was given morphine to calm him. Naruto's convulsions halted and he began to breathe normally. I have given in a dose to keep him asleep. He'll be fine in a few hours, said the medic. Mei nodded as the medic snapped of the latex gloves and exited the tent. Mei smiled at his calm face and pressed her lips to his cheek and left quickly. Get well soon, Naruto-kun. Naruto found himself in his mindscape again. So Naruto decided to visit me, or is this just a fluke? Asked Kyubi as he put his head in her lap and caressed his whisker marks. That's right, boys and girls, the Kyubi is a girl. Sorry for not coming more often. I've been busy. I've been working on cracking the seal so we can finally be together, said Naruto. I heard that the council has placed CRA on you, said Kyubi. Are you mad about that? Not really. I just hope the women in your life will tolerate me, don't worry. I love you and that's what counts. Who you are and your past has nothing to do with the fact you are strong, beautiful and independent woman who has needs as well, said Naruto, getting a giggle from Kyubi. I suppose, but don't hurt yourself like you just did. You gave me a scare. I'm sorry, Q-chan. You're forgiven. Now get back out there. Remember, you will never be a demon. Hi. Naruto awoke in a dark tent. Wiping the sleep from his eyes, he got off of the cot he was laid on and ventured around the tent to pick up his equipment. After putting on his last article of clothing, he opened the tent flap and went to find Mei. He found her and her advisors in the main tent that was designated as the war room. We destroy 2 more citadels like the last one, and we will have them running back to the city. Then we make our move, said a Jounin. Naruto entered the tent and stood in the back, listening to the banter. One of the Jounin looked up and saw Naruto in the tent and spoke to him. Naruto-san, you feeling better already? Come and join us. Mei and the others looked at Naruto, who was no longer pale or convulsing like he did before. Naruto, I'm glad you are feeling better. We were discussing our plans to attack other forts, said Mei. Naruto looked at the plans and shook his head. The opposition has seen what we can do. They have undoubtedly sent more ninja to fortify the numbers at the bastions. We should attack Mist while its ninja are off protecting its fortresses. I estimate that only 25% remains at the village to protect the Mizukage. We attack, rally those who are oppressed by the Mizukage and his regime. We can end the war now without more bloodshed, said Naruto. What makes you so sure that fact is so? Asked the Jounin with an eye patch. I just received that information from a set of clones I sent that were hinged as a Kiri scout team. I killed and replaced the team about 2 minutes ago. I sent them false information that we were headed to attack both fortresses tomorrow. Thinking that our forces are weak because we plan to storm both fortresses, the village will send out more ninja to defend the garrison. The Jounin all nodded in understanding. The Jounin from Konoha was just a youngster but acted as if he had been through many wars. Are we agreed on this plan? Asked Mei and received a unanimous nod. Good, tomorrow we strike and end this war at dawn. The next morning, like Naruto had predicted, the gates of Kiri were opened and extra ninja were sent to the garrisons, leaving the real village vulnerable. Naruto had clones place the same seals he had made at the 2 forts as a distraction. As soon as dawn struck, Mei and the rebel forces entered Kiri, while the village was at its weakest. The ninja at the fortresses were too occupied with the minefield of seals that they could not respond and head home. Naruto, follow me. We will take on Yagura. Everyone else, free any prisoners and rally the troops. Keep the civilian death toll down. We need the villagers on our side, said Mei as her men shouted in affirmation. Mei and Naruto entered the Mizukage tower to find it suspiciously empty and found Yagura at the top of the tower, waiting for them. A magnificent strategy to leave me unguarded, but I am not in need of protection from no-name ninja like the 2 of you, said a sneering Yagura. Naruto's eyes narrowed when he looked at the Mizukage's eyes. Something was out of place, but he did not know what. Mei, something is not right. You told me that Yagura was a peaceful ruler. His eyes suggest otherwise, whispered Naruto to Mei. It is a big mystery. No one knows what happened to incite such a change, whispered Mei in return. You two have made it this far, but your journey ends here, shouted Yagura as he blasted water jutsu toward his adversaries. Mei, keep him distracted while I ready a few seal tags, said Naruto. Yotan, lava bed no jutsu. Mei opened her mouth as a stream of lava flowed out of her mouth and forced Yagura onto solid ground. Naruto and Mei followed him closely. Yagura spun his staff and tried to strike Naruto, but Mei encased the staff in a pillar of hardened lava. Your puny jutsu cannot hurt me, shouted Yagura as Mei encased him in lava. Almost there, replied Naruto. Hurry, replied Mei. Without warning, the lava encasing shattered as chakra began to surround him. 3 tails swung behind. He's gone into tailed beast mode. Mei, stay back, shouted Naruto. Naruto threw down 6 tags with seals on them around Yagura. Your attempts are futile. What is this? Raged Yagura as he saw chakra chains grab onto him and hold him firmly. Yagura, you were a peaceful ruler. Now you want bloodshed. I will end your injustice here and now. Fuionjutsu, seal of heaven and earth. Naruto hurled a kunai at Yagura with the seal wrapped around the handle. The kunai was reduced to metal shaving on contact with the chakra, but the seal stuck. Seal. The chakra around the Mizukage dissipated as he shrieked in agony. As the chakra chains dissolved, Yagura started to look around as he had never been in Kiri. Where am I? He asked in a shaky voice. Mei looked at him in surprise. You're in Miss Yagura. Where do you think you are? Asked Mei, glaring at him. I don't know. The last thing I remember seeing were red eyes with a black Sharingan in the center, replied Yagura. The Sharingan is used to hypnotize and can be used to command someone to do their bidding, said Naruto as Mei nodded. Yagura, you have caused the bloodline wars. What will you do now? Shouted Mei. You killed my parents and a good population of Kiri and set brother against brother. Yagura saw his men fighting the rebels and jumped down in the middle of the fighting. Stop. This is a mistake. Cease, I command you. Lay your arms down. I resign as your Mizukage as I am no longer fit for this job, said Yagura as he handed Mei the Mizukage hat. Mei gasped as the hat was given to her. Yagura, you have saved me from murdering our comrades. You have the qualities to lead. Take charge and heal this land, for I am no longer capable, said Yagura. Naruto leaned in to talk to Mei. He doesn't remember anything. Have his mind scanned and keep him close. I sense that someone is trying to frame your now former Mizukage. Watch him. They may be people trying to capture and use the power of your country's tailed beasts to destroy Kiri, whispered Naruto. 2 months later, Kiri had returned to normal. Naruto had used his clones to repair the city in a month with the help of ninja and civilians alike. Mei was chosen as the new Mizukage by the new council. She doubted Yagura but made him one of her bodyguards. Like they say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Naruto was called to Mei's office by Yagura, who was dressed in a Jounin outfit. So, Yagura, how's it feel to be a Jounin? Asked Naruto as they traveled to the tower. Peaceful. There's no pressure or paperwork to overwhelm me. I thank you for your kindness. I would rather bear with constant surveillance than be alone and vulnerable. Jinchuriki live a harsh life, said Yagura. The former Mizukage had served out a month's sentence in the prison before he was scanned for any malevolence and reinstated as a Jounin bodyguard. I know how you feel, Jinchuriki no Sanbai, said Naruto as Yagura's eyes widened though his face remained unchanged. I am a Jinchuriki myself. I am the Jinchuriki no Kyuubi and a Jounin of Konoha. Even though Konoha hated me, I have thrived and achieved goals that I would never have dreamed of reaching. I am still working on becoming the Hokage, but it doesn't happen overnight, said Naruto, smiling at his fellow Jinchuriki. He leaned in and spoke softly into Yagura's ear. I do not know what forces loom in the dark, but look out for any Jinchuriki who may pass through Kiri. Jinchuriki live an ostracized life. Look out for your kin as I have done for you, said Naruto as they arrived at the tower. Naruto waved at Yagura and went inside. Naruto-san, people as kind as you are seldom in this world. Don't ever change, whispered Yagura into the air as he turned around and began to patrol the tower. Mei sat at her desk, which was overflowing with papers. Naruto smiled as he thought of the Sandaime Hokage, who had a look of defeat in his eyes when another pile of paper came into the office. Do this end somewhere? Muttered Mei as she glared at the mountains of paper, as if they would combust under her stare. How's it feel to be Mizukage, Mei-chan? Asked Naruto as he closed the door behind him. Mei looked up and sighed in relief. Finally, I can take my eyes off this paperwork. How have you been, Naruto-kun? She asked. It's nice, except the paperwork can be frustrating, said Mei, setting down the paper she was looking at. It's time for me to return home, Mei. My mission is done, said Naruto seriously. Naruto-kun, you have to leave? Asked Mei. Over the last 2 months the two had gotten close. Now that he had to leave, reality had set in. Don't worry, Kiri and Konoha have a treaty now, right? We agreed on a treaty if the rebellion worked, said Naruto. Yeah, we do. I'll send the treaty back with you. Stay one more day. You can return tomorrow, said Mei, begging him to stay one more day. Alright, I'll send Sarutobi the news, said Naruto. Mei got up and went around her desk and pulled Naruto into a tender hug. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Naruto turned red as Mei planted a kiss on his cheek. Naruto grinned, planning to get her back for embarrassing him. I'm not a child like you think I am, Mei-chan. Naruto revealed his adult form to her and pulled her into an intimate embrace. Be careful, you may fall for me, he said, teasing as he let her go. Mei sputtered unintelligible words before turning red and mumbling something about blondes. You know you love me, Mei-chan, said Naruto as he exited the room. I always get the last laugh. With that, Naruto left a flustered Mei, who grabbed the nearest piece of paper, which turned out to be a note from Naruto. Use Kage Bunshin. It makes the paperwork go faster. Naruto. Outside of the tower, everyone in range heard their Mizukage face plant on her desk. Mei grinned evilly as she added a stipulation in the treaty. Naruto-kun, you should know women never start a fight. They finish them, she said as she laughed evilly, scaring away her new secretary. Naruto was greeted with bows as he went about Kiri. Stores offered him merchandise for free and girls blushed when he smiled at them. Naruto got into his room and packed, hoping the Naruto Uzumaki Namake's fan club had not caught wind of his departure. He had to hide his face when he went to the hot springs in Kiri because the springs were co-ed. What did I do to deserve this? He said into the ceiling. In Konoha, Sasuke sneezed. His fan club locked in on his location and he ran for his dear life. I'm going to kill whoever made me sneeze just now. The stoic, Uchiha ran from the mob of fangirls as a chibi Sasuke cried anime-style tears. Naruto had returned to Konoha with the treaty Mei had given him, unaware of the stipulations. Naruto had locked himself inside his estate, bent on cracking the seal that imprisoned the one girl that had loved through all the pain he had gone through. Apparently, the Kyuubi was a girl because her first 2 containers were women. She had cried when she saw the pain Naruto had gone through. Naruto and she had gotten close when she had helped him master his affinities, but the Hokage didn't need to know that. Regardless of the fact Sarutobi Hiruzen had given him his inheritance, he had hid the information from Naruto. As such, Naruto decided that he could have secrets as well. He had trouble mastering the scrolls his parents left him. His mother had left him several Suiton jutsu that had originated from Yuzu. He had mastered one and made a futon variant, but 2 remained. His father had left him the Rasengan and the Flying Thunder God jutsu, and he had only finished the Rasengan. He was still experimenting with inserting elemental chakra into the sphere. His army of clones worked on the 5 elements in the training grounds on his estate, at safe distance as to not destroy his home. The Flying Thunder God Jutsu was impossible to start practicing until he had several of the kunai his father used. He was left only 2, not sufficient enough for him to use shadow clones to master said technique. Meanwhile, Enko had rung his doorbell, hoping to reach him. Naruto heard the chime and went into the foyer to open the door. Enko-chan, what can I do for you today? Naruto inquired. Enko grabbed the clueless Jounin by the collar and kissed him on the lips, slipping him some tongue. I want a date today. Pick me up at 5 p.m. sharp at my place. I picked the place, said Enko, kissing him once more for good measure. Naruto could only nod as he watched Enko leave his estate, her hips swaying a bit more than usual. A date? I need to get some fancy clothes or at least something presentable to wear. Naruto scrambled to get to the mall as the clock read 2:30 p.m. He ran into Ino, who he asked for some advice and told her of his date at 5. In the 1 hour, Ino had got him several outfits, casual and formal, that would make him look nice. Thanking Ino, he shunshed into his home where he put on one of the many formal outfits he bought with Ino's help. Checking the clock, which read 4:45 p.m., Naruto raced to Enko's place, and as the clock struck 5, he had arrived and rung her doorbell. My. You're looking good, Naruto, said Enko. Naruto looked at his date in awe. Enko had cleaned up nicely. Gone were the trench coat, fishnets, and lack of clothing. Enko wore a sensual red and black dress that had a slit up one leg, giving anyone a good look at her legs but left the rest to imagination. Her dress was not too low-cut, but Naruto was sure Enko would give him a few good views of her cleavage. The pair headed to the Platinum Dragon, a high-end restaurant that was so good, seats had to be reserved a month or 2 ahead of schedule. Enko missed the hidden grin on Naruto's face as she walked with him to the restaurant. While they stood in line, the people around them quietly commented on the couple. Namike-sama is with the snake bitch of all girls, whispered a girl. I'm not surprised, the demon would choose to stay with its kind. The man, oblivious to Naruto looming over him, did not notice Naruto until too late. The Sandame's law is still valid, but I don't want to ruin Enko's date, he said as the man sweated profusely. Naruto grabbed him by the collar and tossed him into a dumpster. You should stay with your kind. Your mouth stinks like your discrimination. You'll get together well with the dumpster because both of you could use a bath. Enko kissed Naruto on the cheek as he returned to his spot in line next to her. You could have let my snakes eat him, Naruto-kun, she said. He's not worthy of your snakes though, Enko-chan. He probably tastes like shit, just like his opinions. Enko giggled at Naruto's joke as they made it to the front of the line. One table under Uzumaki Namike's, said Naruto. The person behind the desk nodded as he called for someone to seat them. Naruto, how are you? Oh, I see you're on a date with a pretty one tonight. Follow me please, said an aging waiter. They were seated in a private booth and handed 2 menus. Enko looked at Naruto inquisitively as Naruto perused the menu. How does that waiter know you? Asked Enko. My parents dined here when the place was just a small restaurant. When they heard of me, they welcomed me in with open arms. The owner was friends with my mother, but since she has a hard time getting out due to her back, she was kept in the dark by employees that hated me. When she found out, she nearly skinned one of them with a butcher knife. Enko laughed until her sides ached. She tried to imagine an old woman running around with a butcher knife threatening one of her employees. She wiped her eyes and opened the menu just as the waiter came back in. So what will you and the miss have tonight? Naruto looked up from the menu. I'll have the sirloin steak with oyster sauce. Also bring us the best bottle of sake you have in stock, said Naruto. I'll have a bowl of sweet bean soup and side of dango, said Enko. When the waiter left with the menus and their order, Enko turned to Naruto. Why their best bottle of sake? Any bottle would do. Naruto smirked and leaned in close as if he were about to kiss her but stopped mere inches from her lips. That's a surprise, he said laughing as Enko pouted. The waiter brought the bottle of sake with 2 cups. Enko gasped at the brand of sake. Naruto bought one of the most famous brands in Konoha. The Golden ASP Sake Company was famous for their high-quality sake. A single bottle was around 1,000 ryo. Naruto uncorked the bottle and poured Enko a full cup before filling his. Kanpai. The couple downed their cups and savored the sweet, slightly bitter taste. Enko listened to Naruto tell her about some of his travels in Kiri. Some Jounin told me I wasn't capable of being a Jounin. After he realized that his underestimation could have cost him the organ that designates that he was a male, he shut up. Enko burst out laughing as she banged her hand on the table in amusement. I'm giggles sure he cherished his manhood from that day on, haha. Naruto called for the bill, seeing that Enko was finished. The waiter handed Naruto the bill and he gave the waiter the exact amount before they got up and left. Holy shit, that meal was 250,000 ryo. Well, I guess it is technically a high-end restaurant, thought Anko. Naruto and Anko went for a walk through the park and he took her to the top of the Hokage monument where they watched the sun set. Anko, I want you to know I really enjoyed this date and I hope we can go on another, said Naruto as they walked to her apartment she shared with a friend. Naruto gave her a hug and turned to leave when Anko spun him around and smashed her lips to his before going into her apartment. Naruto stood there stunned before his mind rebooted and he headed home. Inside, Anko looked out of the window as she smiled at no one in particular. I hope so too, she said to no one in particular. Naruto's mind was spinning as he made his way home. So, what was that kiss about, thought Naruto. As he reached the gates of his estate, an ANBU appeared next to him via Shunshin. The Hokage asked for your presence. Naruto nodded and sighed as he walked toward the Hokage tower. The Sandaime was frantically going through pile after pile of work, hoping it would end soon. Naruto stepped into his office and closed the door as Sarutobi looked up from the paper he had in his hands. Naruto, I went through the treaty and I want to make you aware of a stipulation that is required for the treaty to go through. Sarutobi handed him the scroll and pointed at one of the conditions. Provision number 5, there must be a political marriage between Mei Terimi, the Godame Nizukage, and Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, Jounin of Konoha. No one else will be acceptable. Naruto's eyes widened as he finished reading the scroll. He slumped into his chair and mumbled something incoherent. I told her that I always get the last laugh and she proves me wrong, he said grumbling. And the worst part is she made sure I had to agree. Tell her I agree. We'll do better with Kiri as our ally than as our enemy. Sarutobi nodded in understanding. Naruto, I have an A-rank mission for you. I want you to enter the academy, assume an alternate identity, and attend the Ninja Academy for the next 4 years. The Civilian Council has lowered the quality of our ninja and I want you to attend to find the kinks in the shinobi program. Itachi Uchiha has also alerted me to the Uchiha clan's sudden secretiveness. I want you to also keep a close eye on the Uchiha Patriarch since the heir to the Uchiha clan is his younger son, who is currently attending the academy. Any changes in the Patriarch are to be reported to me. I have given you and Itachi the authority to kill him if he should continue down the path I think he is going down. Naruto nodded as he bowed to Sarutobi before leaving the office. Iruka glanced over the note once more before turning to speak to the class. Class, we have a new student. Please introduce yourself to the class, he said. Naruto wrote his name on the board and turned to face the class. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I am the same age as most of you. I hope to get along with all of you. Naruto took a seat next to Hinata and smiled in her direction. The poor girl's face turned a bright red and she passed out. Iruka sighed as he pulled out a small bottle of smelling salts and woke the girl. Now class, where were we? Asked Iruka. You were talking about the Nidaime Hokage and his ability to pull water from the air for his Swate Unjutsu, said a pink-haired girl. Thank you, Sakura. The Nidaime Hokage. Naruto nodded off and fell asleep on his desk as Iruka droned on. Iruka turned to face the class after writing down some information on the board to find Naruto asleep, his head resting on the desk. A vein appeared in his forehead as he threw an eraser at Naruto. Naruto caught the eraser in his hand as he continued to sleep. Naruto, I expect you to pay attention, shouted Iruka. You said the Nidaime was the younger brother of the Shodaime, and that he was famous for his Swate Unjutsu. You started to talk about the Sandaime, and how he is called the professor due to his extensive knowledge of jutsu, stated Naruto without lifting his head. Iruka looked at the new student in surprise. He looked like he was sleeping, but in reality, he had heard every word. Okay then. Moving on, the Yondaime was famous for his Flying Thunder God jutsu. He is also the only person to date in the bingo book to ever been given the SS rank and a flea on sight order. The bell rang and Naruto dragged himself from his desk to his home where he threw himself into his Flyonjutsu projects. Under the name Torina Mizukai, he patented several seals. He had stumbled into the Higatashi's shinobi store by serendipity, and was he glad he did. Not only did they jump on the offer, Naruto and Tenchi, the owner of the store, had decided to split the profits 75 to 25, they had been given the first batch as a present to celebrate their partnership. Tenchi's mouth dropped when Naruto presented him with several variants of the sealing scroll, exploding tag, and restraint seal. This included Naruto's distinctive seals he created, in addition to the jutsu seal and weapon seal he made in Kiri. The more prominent seals he crafted were the restraint-breaking seal that allowed a captured shinobi or kunoichi to free themselves, a sexual assault seal that protected both genders from being sexually abused whether they were incapacitated or restrained, and the chakra pool seal which collected excess chakra from its user and allowed them to tap the pool of chakra when their primary source was depleted. Many of the seals were a godsend for both shinobi and kunoichi alike. He began to work on the dead demon seal, hoping to find a way to crack the seal to release his tenant from the seal without killing both of them in the process. Naruto worked on decrypting the seal and going to the academy posing as a student as well as visiting Mei and Kiri during his breaks. The Hokage had given him Sannin traveling rights, stating that his life needed a female's touch. He had informed Mei of his clan status and the CRA that the council put on him. She had told him that as long as he loved her and all of his wives equally, she wouldn't have a problem with it. Mei and Naruto went on a date in Kiri and spent quality time together before he had to return to Konoha. While he was there, she introduced him to the surviving members of the 7 swordsmen of Kiri, who had returned after Mei pardoned them and had the hunter ninja looking for them escort any members back to Kiri after giving them a scroll signed by her, pardoning them. So far only one of the 7 swordsmen had returned while another member had remained loyal to Mei. Chojuro had sided with Mei in the Bloodline Wars, while Raiga returned with some persuasion. The other positions were filled with newer shinobi, wielding unique weapons that differed from their original counterparts. Naruto sparred with the 7 swordsmen, picking up various tips on how to improve his kenjutsu style. Most of the swordsmen were astonished upon seeing Naruto's weapon of choice. It was a deadly choice. Its durability, ability to become 2 smaller weapons or 1 big weapon, and unique shape made it hard to combat in battle. Its side blades could carve out chunks of flesh while its spear points made it more difficult for close combat kenjutsu masters to combat. He had to eventually say his goodbyes, but he promised to visit again. He left for Konoha unaware that he had emotionally wounded one woman in Konoha unintentionally. Anko sat depressed in her room as Kurenai tried to console her. Naruto had gotten engaged in a political marriage with the Mizukage to finalize the alliance between Konoha and Kiri. She, however, was not informed of the CRA part. As she sat on her bed crying as she was being consoled by her roommate and friend, Kurenai made a mental note to create the worst possible genjutsu for Naruto, but then realized that she was out of his league. She decided to do it the old-fashioned way. When Naruto was walking past her and Anko's shared apartment, she followed him to his home before announcing her presence. "Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, you bastard! How could you break Anko's heart like that? Leading her on and dashing her hopes as you promise yourself to another woman," shouted Kurenai. Naruto looked at her and cocked his head. "I thought you knew about CRA that the council put on me. Never you mind, I have to marry a minimum of 7 girls before I become 21 or they pick the women I marry. I thought I made it clear I wanted another date from Anko," said Naruto as Kurenai's cheeks turned blood red. "Well, you go tell her that because she's crying her eyes out," said Kurenai. Naruto's eyes expanded as he rushed to Anko's apartment and knocked. Anko opened the door and almost slammed the door on Naruto's face. "Anko-chan, please calm down. I'm under CRA. I thought I had made it clear that I would like another date with you because I want to get to know you better," said Naruto pleading. Anko wiped her eyes as relief replaced her despair. "Naruto, you could have told me," she said softly. "Anko, I wasn't sure how I felt about you then, but now I know I need you in my life," said Naruto. He kissed her on the lips and pulled her into a hug. "Anko Mitarashi, will you become my first wife? I know that I am engaged to marry another woman," but Anko's lips silenced him as he soon melted into the kiss. "Yes, Naruto-kun," said Anko. Naruto left her apartment with the biggest smile on his face that continued to appear when he spaced out, freaking out his classmates. Naruto was smiling again as he put on his clothes and headed to the academy. Anko and he were keeping their relationship secret due to his assignment. He whistled a cheery tune as he walked to the academy and sat in his seat. Today, something worth to a shinobi or kunoichi under his or her belt was happening today. Class spars were happening. Naruto wondered who he'd be put up against. Some teacher's aide named Mizuki Bakemono assigned to help Irika teach showed up. Irika lectured about some forsaken topic for an hour or so before he motioned for the class to follow him outside to the sparring grounds. Naruto's eyes narrowed upon seeing the Uchiha clan present. Something big was going on, and he just knew it. The Uchiha patriarch and his wife, Mikoto, were there along with some old men. Naruto presumed that they were the Uchiha clan elders. Pairs were slowly called up to fight each other. Shikamaru and Choji refused to fight each other, and were assigned other partners. Naruto watched in utter disgust as some of Sasuke's fangirls fought each other. It involved more of face scratching than fighting with a taijutsu. Besides, the academy taijutsu was pretty useless. His suspicion was confirmed when he was called up to fight Sasuke. The arrogant black-haired boy was pampered by both his clan and the village. Naruto had seen his skills before and wasn't impressed. The boy may have trained hard, but he wasn't training to get better. Irika stood to the side of the platform and recited the rules again before signaling them to get ready. No killing. The first one to fall is the loser. Fight. Naruto had added a variety of seals on weights he had bought at the Higatashi store. Naruto had bought them before he enrolled into the academy, and spent a month engraving seals into the weights to help hide his strength level. The current weight of the seals he wore on his limbs and torso all came out around 500 pounds. He also turned up his resistance seals to build up his strength, and make sure he did not accidentally harm any of his classmates seriously in a spar. He inwardly growled. He was sure that the Uchiha clan was pushing their son to defeat him soundly in this spar. He would fight fairly though. If they tried anything, he would pulverize them. Sasuke flew towards him, his fist cocked back to throw a punch at Naruto's stomach. Naruto sidestepped the charge and swept his opponent's leg from under him, causing Sasuke to lose balance and collapse face first into the platform. Sasuke stood up quickly, his face contorted in rage and embarrassment. Yelling, he dashed toward Naruto ready to bash his skull in. Once again, Naruto had not even tried to retaliate. Naruto grabbed Sasuke's overextended fist and stepped behind him, throwing Sasuke face first. Naruto placed a knee on the Uchiha's spine and twisted his hand to prevent him from getting up. Forfeit, said Naruto. Sasuke gritted his teeth and struggled but found he was trapped. I forfeit. The Uchiha clan head and the elders left immediately after Sasuke gave up. Seeing that his father had left in disgust, he tried to redeem himself by using a Katon jutsu on Naruto. Katon, Phoenix Fireball! Shouted Sasuke. He watched with a smug smile while Iruka and Naruto's friends stood there helpless. Team, you should never underestimate your opponents. It could kill you, said a voice inside the fireball. The fireball suddenly dissipated, revealing an unscathed Naruto. He grabbed the trembling Uchiha by the collar and pulled him to eye level. Attacking a loyal Konoha shinobi is treason and you could be executed on the spot. It would do you good to remember that. Naruto dropped Sasuke and walked back into the school as Iruka waved everyone else back in while Mikoto nursed Sasuke. She looked in the direction Naruto had left in and silently asked Kami to forgive her arrogant son. She took Sasuke home and returned to find Naruto and apologize. She found him eating with the sons of the Choshirino trio, minus Ino, the son of the Insect clan, and the heir of the Inuzuka clan. Naruto-san, I would like to apologize for my son. What he did was uncalled for, she said, bowing to Naruto. Uchiha-san, you do not have to apologize. Your son just needs to learn he will not always win in a battle, said Naruto. He turned away from the Sasuke's mother as he finished his lunch. Mikoto smiled at the boy. He was severely misunderstood, but his was kind and gentle-hearted. Itachi stood before the Sandaime and gave his report. My father has become more unstable. I fear that he might try something soon, Hokage-sama, said Itachi. Sarutobi stroked his chin in thought. Itachi, I would like you to talk to Naruto. I have asked him to watch your brother. He told me that your parents, along with the elders, were there today watching the spar. Itachi's face became serious. I do not know what he is thinking. I await any orders from you. Itachi disappeared in the shunshin, leaving the Sandaime to sit in his chair, lost in thought. Itachi went home and was pulled aside by his mother. Itachi-kun, your father wants to overthrow the Hokage and take over tonight, whispered Mikoto frantically. His mother had helped secretly observe his father. Mother, I have a plan to stop the coup. I need you to follow my instructions. The Uchiha Patriarch, the elders, and a good part of the Uchiha clan wanted to have the village under their thumbs. However, a small minority opposed the idea, believing that they should remain faithful to the village. Itachi and this small bunch launched their plan an hour before the clan planned to start their coup. The Uchiha elders and Itachi's father were silently killed, as well as those who supported the coup. Those who survived were killed on the spot. As the coup was quelled, Mikoto and Sasuke were taking a walk in the park as part of Itachi's plan. Mikoto would cover for her elder son while he wiped out the usurpers and cleaned up the mess. Dawn broke as Mikoto carried her sleeping son home and headed to sleep herself. Itachi informed the Sandaime of his actions and was reassured his decisiveness saved Konoha. Mikoto came upon a strange scene once she put her younger son to bed. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze was chatting in the living room with Itachi. Thank you for your help, Naruto-kun. It was nothing worth mentioning. You are a fellow Konoha ninja and it's only right for me to help you. Besides, the Hokage asked me to do it as a favor to him. What do you mean? The Hokage has known about Fugaku's plans to overthrow the Hokage in a quest for power. He just did not know when it would happen and asked me to watch his movements. I see. The means that led to this outcome do not matter now. It is done. I agree. I hope I will get along with you and the rest of the Uchiha clan. We are in your debt. You only have to ask and we shall do it if it is in our power to. Naruto nodded and shook Itachi's hand before he left the Uchiha compound. Mother, you can come out now, said Itachi. Mikoto stepped out from behind the wall she was pressed against. You sense me? She asked sheepishly. It matters not. I am sure you want some answers, Ka-chan. If possible, please tell me from the beginning and leave out no details. Flashback. 2 hours before the massacre began. Itachi had gathered those who opposed the coup and told him of his plan to purge the clan. The group was grim but agreed. Their fellow clan members had gone beyond the point of return. Suddenly Naruto turned up with his mechanical beasts following him. The Hokage told me of the plot. I came to offer my help to opposing Fugaku-san. The other members as well as Itachi raised an eyebrow. You sure you want to dirty your hands with blood of my clan? Asked Itachi. I have the blood of hundreds of Kiri loyalists on my hands. More blood will not make them any dirtier, Itachi-san. You are one of the Uchiha clan I respect. I do not want you to do something reckless without me, said a grinning Naruto. Itachi smiled and patted Naruto on the shoulder. Alright Naruto-kun, I'll be counting on you to watch my back. The mechanical crab foamed at the mouth before it clicked its pincers together. The dragon and scorpion swung their tails lazily as Naruto patted Itachi's arm. Get on. Naruto leapt on the dragon and Itachi followed suit. The other members climbed aboard other creations as they sped toward the Uchiha training ground where the traitorous Uchiha were gathered. The dragon roared before a stream of fire blasted the nearest traitors. Naruto unsealed his unique weapon and began to cut down the rebellious Uchiha led by Fugaku. Itachi leapt from the head of the dragon and landed near Fugaku. Father, you have crossed the line. I will protect the Uchiha name from being tainted by your greed, said Itachi as he engaged in a jutsu battle with his father. The crab and scorpion creatures sliced, cut, and crushed their enemies as they kept the riders on their backs safe. An Uchiha blasted Naruto's dragon with a fire jutsu, thinking Naruto had been burned to a crisp. To his displeasure, Naruto and his creation came from the blaze unharmed. You are a fool. My beasts are covered with chakra-stealing seals. Die, said Naruto. The dragon's wings flapped and created a wind that fueled the stream of flame that erupted from its jaws. The offender and everyone within 10 feet of blast was wiped from the earth's surface. The crab and scorpion stood idle, keeping the turncoat Uchiha from aiding the clan elders who were embroiled in a battle with Naruto. The dragon blasted away any conspirators left from its first rounds. Boy, you would have joined us. Your skills would have been helpful, said the elders. Naruto said nothing in response. Instead, he maneuvered his way around one of the elders' guards and cleaved his body in half. The remaining 3 elders redoubled their strength. Naruto smirked when they tried to activate their Sharingan to predict his movements. TSK, it's not that easy to foresee my movements, said Naruto as he continued to run the elders into the ground. They surrounded him and trying to attack from all sides. The Sharingan cannot foretell movements that it has never seen before, said Naruto grinning as the elders swore. Itachi had told him that Sharingan was not invincible, and could not predict the movements of an enemy it had never studied before. Naruto blasted one of the elders away with a wind jutsu while encasing the other 2 in an earth jutsu. Naruto took off toward the elder he had blasted away earlier. The elder slowly got off the ground in time to block Naruto's thrust but was caught off guard when Naruto ducked under his strikes. Naruto had ducked under the man's fists and sliced the man's legs from his body. He leapt away, leaving the elder to die from blood loss and shock. The other 2 elders struggled in their bonds but when Naruto arrived, had broken from their restraints. You have angered the Uchiha clan elders. Prepare to die. Suddenly a giant shadow loomed over both. You have awoken a sleeping dragon. Naruto's mechanical dragon was resting nearby and had come to eliminate the enemy. Prepare to die. The dragon crushed an elder under one of its metal-clawed legs before seizing the other with its serrated jaws. The elder's screams were heard of the battlefield. The smoking bits of the last elder were expelled from the dragon's mouth as it lowered its head to Naruto's level. Naruto laughed quietly before he patted the dragon's head. Good job. A grunt from the direction of Itachi and Fugaku caught Naruto's attention. Itachi had impaled his father on the katana he had received as an ANBU. Naruto sealed up his beasts before making his way to Itachi's position. Itachi wiped his blade clean on a scrap of cloth he tore from a corpse. I'm sorry for your loss, Itachi, but this was the right thing to do. Itachi nodded as he sheathed his sword. Naruto-kun, do you want to have some tea with me? End flashback. Mikoto had sat quietly through the tale. Not once did she cry for the man who she had once called her husband. Their souls are at rest now. Hopefully, they will find redemption in the next life, she said. She turned to face Itachi once more. You said Naruto showed up to help you. So the Sandaime sent him to monitor Fugaku? Yes. What level would you place him at, Tachi-kun? Itachi's face shadowed over as his eyes looked at something distant. Kao-san, the day when Naruto snaps over the edge, whoever threatens his precious people will be wiped from the earth along with their conspirators. His Fuyon Jutsu makes him irreplaceable. He fought the clan elders and slaughtered them. All the traitors that approached him with blades drawn were reduced to dust by his mechanical beasts. The Sandaime and Jiraiya still don't know how they work, said Itachi. Mikoto's eyes widened as she thought of Naruto. As a child, he must have experienced traumatic events in his life. Naruto was a mysterious child. He had appeared several months ago from thin air. His abilities were too advanced for a student at the academy. Mikoto shook thoughts of Naruto out of her mind as she went to bed. The next morning at the academy, Sasuke came in a little more sullen than usual. The news of the clan slaughter spread like wildfire. The Hokage released the news, stating a group of assassins targeted the Uchiha and wiped out most of them before Itachi and the survivors pushed them back. Sasuke's fan club surrounded him, trying to cheer him up. Surprisingly, to many of the students, Naruto went up to him and talked with him. By the end of the day, Sasuke was smiling. Sasuke remembered the words Naruto said to him as he walked home. Don't dwell in the past. Move forward and forge a new future for you and your clan. Don't stew in vengeance and death. Look forward and conquer your darkness, and strive for life and kindness. Naruto smiled to himself. One Uchiha saved is better than none at all. Mikoto tailed Naruto as he left the academy, bent on finding who he really was. Naruto felt a foreign chakra signature behind him and walked around the village to throw off his stalker. He went into an old apartment complex and went into a random room before using the shunshin to get to his compound. Mikoto lost him and thought he had hinged himself into something in the apartment complex. She searched high and low, realizing she had been tricked. Naruto sighed in relief as he entered his home and quickly made his way inside. He was now more cautious in leaving, checking his surroundings for people who might follow him. He had developed a teleportation seal in response to his stalker. He had gotten Anko's permission and put it in her apartment. Anko was thrilled because now she and her fiancé could spend more time together without being so cautious. Naruto-kun, said Anko as he materialized from the seal. She pulled him into a tight hug as he hugged her back. The past few months had been crazy. The mission, the Uchiha coup he helped put down, research to free his third fiancé from his seal. He had forgotten Anko during the crazy months. He and Anko cuddled in her apartment, while she listened to his stories about the academy. Anko laughed as he talked about the fangirls that crowded Sasuke and screamed his praise on top of their lungs. Don't you have a fangirl too? That girl Hinata has been seen following you around. Naruto's head dropped as he suppressed a shiver. The girl was nice, but she was pretty creepy also. Don't remind me, he said. Don't worry, I'll protect you from your fan club, said Anko, pressing his face to his chest. Naruto's hair stood up on end. I have a fan club? Anko giggled. You do. Ever since you patented those anti-rape seals, the Kunoichi population has put your alter ego, Torina Mizukai, has been hailed as a hero. And I kind of let it slip. I was seeing their hero. Naruto paled as he visualized himself running from a crowd of smitten Kunoichi screaming his name. Anko watched Naruto overanalyze the situation. She laughed as his face contorted into horror. Relax, Naruto-kun, they don't know who you really are though. Naruto put on a mock-hurt face as he pretended to cry. You are so mean, Anko-chan. I won't tell you about a book I'm writing and you'll just have to wait. Anko perked up when he mentioned the word book. Come on, Naruto-kun. I am sorry. Please tell me about it, begged Anko. Jiraiya had given Naruto a copy of his newest Ika novel when he was in town. Naruto opened the book and handed it back, claiming he could write better. Jiraiya had challenged him to write a novel better than his. If he could not, he would proclaim in public that Jiraiya was the holiest of holy people for writing his smut. Naruto agreed and had been working on the book. His relationship with Anko had given him inspiration for the novel. Anko proofread his chapters and gave him advice. Anko's mouth watered as Naruto smiled in defeat and handed her the newest chapter. The gist of the story was based around a young man with horrendous scars that drove away maidens upon gazing upon him. Despite his unrequited love for a beautiful maiden from a rich family who was hounded by various suitors, he continued to protect her from harm. He killed all those who tried to harm the girl, despite the girl's rejection of his love. Anko cried as she read the new chapter. The young man had remained loyal to the maiden despite her coldness. She had sent her guards to beat him up for her pleasure, and he stood still as the guards beat him to near death and spat on him. She continued to ignore the man until he saved her from an assassin who had been hired by a rival family to kill her to gain her riches. Anko grinned as she gave Naruto her opinion, and watched him jot down her words as he put away the manuscript. He kissed he goodbye as he went home via the seal. 4 years later, Naruto woke up as his alarm rang and grumbled as he silenced it. He put on his clothes, ate a small breakfast, and then headed to take Genin exam. Sasuke smirked at him as he walked through the door. The two had become good friends and rivals. Hey Dobe, you escaped from your fan club already? He joked. Naruto grinned back. At least they don't know who I am. Your fan club follows you everywhere. Naruto smirked inwardly as he prepared to scare his friend. Oh, I think that's them running down the hall now. Sasuke paled as he made a beeline for the bathroom. Naruto sighed. His own fan club had been created upon the introduction of his book to Konoha bookstores. Jiraiya cried waterfall tears when Naruto's books outsold his first 3 volumes of smut. He reluctantly handed over the 20,000 ryo he bet Naruto. Jiraiya had said that he had to publish under his own name. Soon every kunoichi in Konoha had created a Naruto fan club that hounded him when he was in the streets. He took to using a henge to disguise himself as a girl to avoid them. He had been teased by Anko, who had been given the first copy by Naruto as a present. She had sicked the kunoichi on his position once for fun. Naruto shivered as his classmates looked at him weird. Sasuke had returned from the bathroom and sat next to Naruto. Naruto cleared his mind as Iruka passed out the written exam after explaining the rules. Naruto quickly finished the test and put his head down, waiting for everyone else to finish. Naruto woke up when Iruka yelled for everyone to go to the training grounds. Iruka explained that the accuracy part was made up of throwing shuriken and kunai. When Sasuke was called up, his fangirls screamed his praise. Smirking at his friend/rival and threw the kunai and shuriken hitting dead center, scoring a perfect 10 out of 10 on both. Naruto yawned as he stepped up. He tossed shuriken and kunai so they hit vital parts on the dummy. In a real battle, those wounds were fatal. Iruka was impressed and gave him a perfect score and some bonus points. Show off, said Sasuke, rolling his eyes. The class was led back into the building. They stopped in the gymnasium to do the practical test. The class was told to graduate they must perform a kamawari, a henge, and the bunshin jutsu. Shino, Kiba, Shikamaru, and Choji all passed and were handed their Hideate. Sasuke of course passed with flying colors. Naruto, grinning, decided to be mischievous during the henge and henged into a beautiful nude woman with smoke around her woman parts. Iruka, Mizuki, and a few students were blown back by massive nosebleeds. Iruka quickly recovered and screamed at Naruto for using a stupid henge. Naruto grinned as several clones appeared around him. Sasuke had created 7, but Naruto had trumped him, creating hundreds, filling the room to its capacity. The clones waved and made various faces. Sakura, one of Sasuke's fangirls, poked a clone. It is solid, said Sakura as Iruka's mouth dropped open along with his assistant. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu is a kinjutsu. He must have ridiculous amounts of chakra to produce that many. Iruka held out a Hideate, but Naruto pulled one from a seal in his belt. No one saw that, but Naruto put a finger up to his mouth, silencing Iruka. Iruka snapped from his daze and finished testing everyone and congratulated those who passed. I will see you all back here next week on the same day, said Iruka. Everyone departed as Naruto remained behind. I'm sure you would like some answers. Iruka nodded and Naruto shunshin the two of them to the Hokage Tower. The Sandaime was stamping some more papers when Iruka and Naruto stepped into his office. Ah, Naruto, you're here just in time. Sarutobi looked at Iruka, who was just as confused as the Sandaime. Naruto, why is Iruka here? I pulled out my Hideate, and he wanted some answers. I see. Iruka, please sit down and we will explain. The Sandaime told the Chunin teacher about Naruto's A-rank mission as an undercover student at the academy. So he was there to evaluate the curriculum? Asked Iruka. Yes, I have let the civilian council gain too much power, and they had tampered with the academy. I asked Naruto to pose as a student and send me weekly reports on his findings. As Naruto stated in his reports, the curriculum was geared toward trivial subjects instead of focusing on teaching the students basic ninja skills, said the Sandaime. Iruka thought back to his history lectures and looked at Naruto before wincing. It's not your fault, Iruka. I will correct the discrepancy in the academy soon. Iruka nodded as another question came to mind. If Naruto was undercover, what rank is he really? Asked Iruka, eyeing the blonde. He is a Jounin, of course. Iruka's eyes bulged as he turned to look at Naruto. Even Itachi was older than Naruto when he became a Jounin. He was studying outside Konoha with my permission. Naruto beamed and turned to Iruka. I'm not called Fuinjutsu no Kami for nothing. The Sandaime sighed as Iruka looked at him for confirmation. He is actually called that in Kiri. He went there on a classified mission. Iruka exited the room, mumbling something about blondes. So find any students you want? Asked Sarutobi. Yeah, but I want to have an assistant. The Sandaime nodded. I would like Anko Mitarashi, said Naruto. The Sandaime sighed. She and Naruto were in a relationship, and Anko came in weekly to pester him about Naruto. Alright, who do you want? Sakura, Ino, and Hinata are my choices. I want to break their bad habits and make them into good kunoichi. Sarutobi couldn't argue with Naruto on the bad habit part. Alright, just don't break them. Naruto thanked the Sandaime and left. Sarutobi went back to his paperwork, silently cursing it. Naruto poked his head back in. Use shadow clones. They will get the work done quicker. Sarutobi sat there stunned as Naruto exited. He was the professor, and he could not come up with a solution. He made some shadow clones as he pulled out a familiar orange book. Damn you, Jiraiya, and your wonderful books. The next week, Naruto's classmates were wondering why he was absent. Iruka told them that he was with the Sandaime. Alright, Iruka read the teams off. Well, with Naruto gone, the teams are a bit uneven. Team 7 was Sasuke, Sai, and Tai. Team 8 was Kiba, Shino, and Haruka. Team 10 was Shikamaru, Choji, and Ayumi. The most surprising to anyone was Team 11, which was Ino, Hinata, and Sakura. Ino and Sakura cried inwardly as they were not on their beloved Sasuke's team. Sasuke breathed a silent sigh of relief. Their sensei filed in to pick up them. Anko came through the window, a giant ball coming in after her. It unraveled into a banner which read, "The taken but still sexy Anko Mitarashi." Iruka slapped his forehead as he looked at Anko. You couldn't use the door like a normal person? He asked. If I did, I wouldn't be unique, she quipped back. She turned to face the class and looked for Ino, Sakura, and Hinata. You three come with me. Team 11 followed Anko out the door. Iruka silently prayed for their souls as a funeral bell rung off in his mind. Anko led her Kunoichi group to Training Ground 11 where they all saw a familiar face. Naruto! The girls shouted. Ino's eyes were caught on the Jounin vest he wore. Hinata blushed as she looked at him. Sakura just simmered in silent anger. I got placed her instead of with Sasuke-kun? She shouted angrily in her mind. Naruto, why are you wearing a Jounin vest? Asked Ino. I'm a Jounin Ino. I was in the academy as a part of a classified mission for the Hokage. He thought back to his mission involving Mizuki right after he graduated. The idiot tried to steal the forbidden scroll. Naruto and the Sandaime had laughed at him as he busted into the Hokage's office, which was suspiciously empty. He had reached for the scroll, or what he thought was the scroll. Naruto turned the lights on and Mizuki was carted away by some ANBU as Naruto and the Sandaime laughed together. Naruto looked at his second fiancée, Anko. She had gotten to torture the poor sap. He turned back to his students and looked them over. 2 fangirls and an unconfident girl. My work is cut out for me. Alright, let's introduce ourselves. I'll go first. My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I like Anko-chan, ramen, dango, training, and spending time with Anko-chan. I dislike traitors, perverts, rapists, bigots, and people who can't let go of the past. My hobbies aren't important. My dream is to become the Hokage, he said. Anko beamed at her fiancé. My name is Anko Mitarashi. I like Naruto, dango, spending time with him, and working in IT with Ibiki. I dislike perverts, a certain traitorous snake, and not spending time with Naruto. My hobby is training in the forest of death. My dream is to you don't need to know. Ino and her teammates' sweat dropped. Anko pointed at Ino. My name is Ino Yamanaka. I like Sasuke-kun and flowers. I dislike forehead over here. My hobby is floral arrangement. My dream is become a psychiatrist and leave my clan. Naruto looked at her again. Well, she wasn't as bad as I thought she was. My name is Sakura Haruno. I like Sasuke-kun. I dislike Ino Pig. My hobbies, giggle. My dream, giggle. Anko and Naruto rolled their eyes. This girl is a hardcore fangirl. This will be good. And my name is H. Hinata H. Hyuga. I like F flowers and looks at Naruto and blushes. I dislike perverts, bigots, and those who put down the weak. My hobbies include archery, practicing my clan techniques, and pressing flowers. My dream is to banish the caged bird seal from use and combine the branch house and main house under one roof. Anko looked at the girl and turned to Naruto, who nodded. Anko's got this girl. She needs a major confidence boost. She mentioned archery as a hobby. We could use that to boost her accuracy in battle. Alright, tomorrow we meet here at 8 a.m. You will be given a survival test. It will decide if you are cut out to be ninja, said Naruto as he told his pupil to go home. Anko and Naruto sat on stools at her favorite dango bar. Hinata needs a confidence boost. Ino just needs a push in the right direction. Sakura, she needs lots of work, said Naruto as he watched his fiancée down several sticks of dango. Don't worry, Naruto. I will break the fangirl tendencies, she said. Naruto waited until she had a piece of dango in her mouth and kissed. Their tongues swirled in each other's mouths. Naruto moved the piece of dango into his mouth and ended the kiss. Anko looked at him wide-eyed as he chewed it and stuck his tongue out at her. That's not fair, Naruto, she pouted. Anyway, just don't break her. Sarutobi Gigi told me not to break her. Her mother's won the civilian council, and she is one screamer. She's like a harpy, said Naruto. Anko smirked and timed her reply as Naruto was drinking his tea. She's probably a screamer in bed too. Her husband undoubtedly wears earplugs to bed, she slyly. Naruto's eyes enlarged as he coughed on his tea. He hit his chest with his fist to clear his throat and glared at his future wife. That was payback, Naruto-kun, she said. He sighed as he and Anko made their way to his compound. He had asked her to move in with him after the Mizuki mission. She had remodeled her room to her liking and filled it with her personal items Naruto helped to carry over. She had moved her belongings into the room but didn't sleep there. She had convinced Naruto to let her sleep in his bed with him. Naruto gave in after seeing Anko pout. He just couldn't say no to that face. Naruto and Anko glared at the alarm clock that woke them. It read 7 o'clock a.m. Anko pouted, not wanting to let go of her cuddle buddy. Naruto whispered to her that if she got up, he would make her a nice breakfast the way she liked it. Anko quickly complied and a minute later was happily eating dango that Naruto made with a side of fruits and eggs. She sipped her tea contentedly. Naruto was perhaps the world's greatest cook. She had asked him once, and he told her that he learned to cook while he lived alone in the estate so he wouldn't eat crappy food. Exactly at 8 a.m., she and Naruto arrived at the training ground where his team stood in wait. Okay team, you three must capture these 3 bells from Anko and I before the timer rings at noon. If you wish to succeed, you must come at us with the intent to kill. Begin! Naruto tied 2 bells to his belt and threw the last one to his fiancée who secured it on the sash she wore. Their team's strategy was pitiful, especially because Sakura charged head-on without a plan. Anko shook her head as Naruto dodged every attack with ease. Naruto sighed as he shunned Shin behind her and delivered a chop to her neck, rendering her unconscious. With that, Anko and he disappeared into the foliage of the area. Ino and Hinata came and grabbed their teammate's limp form. They hid themselves and awoke Sakura from her slumber. Did I get the bells? Asked the newly awake Sakura. Ino and Hinata shot her a look that made her put her head down. I know, I have an idea. T the bells are P part of a bigger S scheme. If we work T together we should be able to get them, said the pale-eyed Hyuga. Ino nodded and looked at Sakura for her answer. Well, if I couldn't get it by myself, we will have a better chance together, right? Anko and Naruto were in a tree kissing. Naruto had sent out a shadow clone to check on his students. He checked their surroundings often in search of a potential attack. Anko decided he was too tense and pulled him into a kiss. This is how their students found them. They gave their teachers a deadpan look as Anko broke the kiss and rubbed the back of her head. Their students attacked their teachers as a team, focusing on Naruto who had 2 of the bells. Naruto had dodged all of Sakura's attacks but had not expected Hinata to appear behind him. She pressed a palm to his back as Ino pointed a blade to his neck. Hinata removed the bells and handed them to her teammates, as the timer rang. They had not gotten the last bell. Anko's face lit up with a mischievous look. Since you did not get all the bells, you technically fail, but since the test was not focused on the bells you all pass, said Anko grinning at Naruto and her confused students. What Anko-chan was trying to say was that you passed by working together. As a team, you are your teammates' lifeline. You protect them and they protect you. There has never been just a one-man team ever before. That's why teamwork is important. Anko took over from that point. While Naruto is glad you all understand the meaning of teamwork, skills are necessary too. Sakura, while your chakra control is good, you lack skills to use it efficiently. Your taijutsu is pitiful as well as other aspects of your fighting. Ino, you lack power. You lack ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu other than your family's techniques. Hinata, while you are a good leader, you lack confidence and a variety in attacks. Over the next month, you 3 will be trained into the ground daily. Do you understand? Said Anko. The girls nodded as Naruto shooed them off. You have to be that harsh. It's for their good. Alright then, Anko-chan. When are you going to teach them about chakra control exercises? I want to be able to train them in basic kenjutsu. That's fine. Hopefully, they will be awake when they get to you. Just don't break them. The pink-haired girl's mother is a civilian councilwoman. Imagine Sakura's screech tenfold. Anko's face went white as a sheet and she nodded. This team needs a good training routine. Oh boy. Team 11 met at their training ground at 8. Anko was there with a large amount of kunai. Naruto had a giant scroll beside him, but the kunai were more intimidating. What are the kunai for? Asked Sakura. Anko grinned as Team 11's Genin flinched. These kunai will help you gain faster reflexes. I suggest dodging now, said Anko. She began throwing kunai at Sakura, Ino, and Hinata. The 3 girls dodged to the best of their ability. Anko's diabolical laughs could be heard from the Hokage Tower, where Sarutobi's sweat dropped. I feel sorry for Naruto's students. An hour later, the three genin lay on the ground with multiple shallow cuts and bruises. I hope you all are warmed up. Chakra control exercises come next, said Enko in an amused tone. The girls slowly got up as Naruto slapped a piece of paper on their shoulders. They sighed and stood up straighter as their wounds were healed and chakra pools refilled. That should make them ready for you, Enko-chan. Enko kissed her fiancé and turned back to her charges. Naruto is going to demonstrate how to tree walk, so pay attention. I'll explain as he does it, said Enko. Naruto walked up the tree and back down as Enko explained how to channel chakra to their feet. Too little and you fall off. Too much will rocket you off. Oh, did I mention you will be doing this until your reserves are almost empty? Said Enko. 2 hours later, Sakura and her teammates were on the ground panting for air. Well, it looks like all of you have good control, but your reserves are too small. Every day for 2 hours, all 3 of you will be doing this exercise until your reserves are large enough to perform several high-rank jutsu. You will be training with Naruto-kun in half an hour, so just rest for now, said Enko smiling. She hopped into a tree and ate some dango she pulled from thin air. Naruto opened the scroll and released the contents. I want you all to try these weapons in your hands until you find one to your liking. When you do, you may keep it, said Naruto. Ino took a pair of butterfly swords. Sakura chose some gauntlets with studs on the knuckles. Hinata had chosen a strangely crafted bow staff. The 3 girls were worked into the ground, learning the skills they lacked. Ino learned how to properly use her butterfly swords and an arsenal of ninjutsu and genjutsu to complement her family's jutsu. Sakura was taught basic healing jutsu and a new taijutsu to work with her studded gloves. Hinata learned how to properly use her bow staff, and Enko created a hybrid taijutsu with Hinata's current one to give Hinata's form more fluidity and grace. The 3 genin learned kenjutsu from Naruto to use their new weapons more effectively. Every day they met, Enko trained their chakra pools, stamina, and speed. Naruto then taught them kenjutsu katas for their weapons, proper stances, ninjutsu, genjutsu, and began to teach them about elemental affinities. It turned out that Ino was attuned to lightning, Sakura to earth, and Hinata to water. Naruto cleverly devised seals that put on their equipment to train their strength. He had his fiancée teach them the exercises for the affinities while he worked out a training regimen for each girl. Every day at team practices, the girls were put through hellish training to learn how to become adept in the way of the kunoichi. Enko made them dodge, jump, duck, and deflect kunai and other assorted pointy ninja tools with a single kunai in hand. Naruto drilled them in katas for the weapons the girls chose. Ino was subjected to a duel with Naruto, who wielded a metal pole. Naruto taught Ino to block, stab, chop, and lock an opponent's weapon with her butterfly swords. When Sakura chose a taijutsu to fit her studded gauntlets, Naruto mercilessly sparred with her, correcting her flaws as he pounded her into the ground. Hinata was first given force to hit small targets accurately with her staff as she dodged a flurry of assorted throwing weapons. The girls collapsed into a heap as Enko looked at them, slightly surprised at their boldness. During a training session when Enko sent her snakes after the girls, they suddenly decided to fight against the snakes. They fought bravely, but after a mere 5 minutes were taken down and rendered unconscious. That took guts. I suppose training with me instills a bit of courage. Naruto leapt into the clearing where Enko stood with the unconscious genin. Enko-chan, I thought I asked you to keep them conscious, not knock them out, said Naruto. Enko rubbed the back of her head in embarrassment as Naruto slapped some paper seals on the girls' bodies and channeled chakra into them. Ino, Sakura, and Hinata awoke feeling fresh and full of energy. Glad you are up, girls. Now it's time for a lesson with me. The girls paled as Naruto led them to another clearing in the training ground. The girls turned white when they saw the equipment in the area. A large kunai throwing device was in one corner. A boulder surrounded by smaller rocks and stones sat in the middle. The most intimidating in the clearing, as an obstacle course looked like a sadistic way to kill someone slowly. Ino, you will be standing in front of this kunai thrower Enko-chan will operate. I want you to hold the lightning barrier jutsu I taught you as long as possible. Enko will also pelt you with kunai as the machine fires a constant stream of them, so the shield must wrap around you. Sakura, you learned the Doton control exercise from Enko-chan. You will use that exercise to break everything from the pebbles to the boulder in your area. Hinata, for your safety, I have replaced all lethal devices in the obstacle course with rubber batons. You will run this course and carefully navigate the obstacle course, cautiously avoiding any traps that make spring at the small touch of a string, platform, or trigger mechanism. I want you to forget about the gentle fist as you pass through this course. Focus on moving swiftly instead with the stiff movements of your family style. The girls nodded as they began their tasks. Naruto had taught the girls some elemental jutsu to match their affinities. Ino learned the lightning barrier, Sakura the mud wall, and Hinata the water bullet. An hour later, Naruto came back to check on the clearing to see if the girls had progressed. The girls were on the ground, breathing hard. Naruto's sweat dropped as he healed the girls again. This is going to take a while. The Chunin exams are coming in 6 months. I'm positive they will be ready then. Meanwhile, Kurenai and Anko were sitting at a booth in Anko's favorite dango bar. Naruto had let their team go home early after training hard. Naruto went home to finish the reverse seal he had created to release Kyuubi from the seal. The Sandaime had been given a heads up from Naruto, and after Naruto explained he loved her, and that she didn't attack Konoha willingly, he relented. Naruto and Anko had kissed and Anko headed to the dango bar to chill while Naruto performed to unsealing rites. An hour later, Kyuubi lay in Naruto's arms as they slept peacefully. He now had 3 beautiful women in his life but had no idea he was about to get a 4th. Anko was eating dango while comforting Kurenai, who had broken up with Asuma after they had an argument about his smoking habits. Kurenai told him to quit, or she would leave. He chose to continue smoking. Kurenai loved Asuma, but his smoking made being around him so unbearable. I can't believe he chose his smokes, sobbed Kurenai as Anko hugged her friend. Kurenai had drunk several bottles of sake to drown her sorrow and was very drunk. Kurenai, I'm sure you will find the right guy soon. Forget the bastard. Come on, let me take you home, said Anko, pulling out of Kurenai's arms over her shoulders as she threw some Rio on the table to pay for their meal. On the way to Kurenai's apartment, Anko felt Kurenai slump onto her shoulder. Not wanting to let her wake up alone, Anko took her to the Namake's compound. Naruto and Kyuubi had woken up and both raised an eyebrow as Anko half-carried half-dragged the black-haired Jounin upstairs to Anko's room. Anko mouthed to Naruto that she would explain later. After tucking her friend in, she went to see her lover. She kissed Kyuubi on the cheek before kissing Naruto on the lips. So this is Kyuubi. Naruto has told me so much about you, said Anko, smiling at the red-haired beauty. Kyuubi had long red hair that reached the middle of her back. Blue slitted eyes smiled at Anko. A pair of red fox ears and a tail adorned her body. Her AHM assets were pronounced threatening to burst the kimono she wore. Kyuubi kissed Anko on the cheek in return and grinned. I have heard and seen you through Naruto's eyes. It is a pleasure to meet you in person. Now to the question, who is the woman you brought into the house and why? Asked Kyuubi. Anko grinned and sat down next to Naruto, who had his arms around both girls. She is a friend of mine and the Jounin sensei of Team 8. She had a bad breakup and she drank too much. I did not want her to wake up alone, said Anko, sighing. Naruto gave Anko's shoulder a gentle squeeze. You did the right thing, Anko-heim, he said, kissing her lips. In private he called her Heim, and it made Anko feel so happy. Kyuubi nodded, seeing the logic in her fellow wife-to-be's actions. It's late, I'll start dinner. When Kurenai wakes up, bring her down to eat with us, said Naruto, moving into the kitchen. Kyuubi followed him to help him out. Anko went to the bathroom and grabbed a hangover pill and a glass of water from the kitchen and headed to where Kurenai slept. Kurenai woke up, feeling better, but her head was pounding. I must have drunk too much, thought Kurenai in hindsight. Anko entered the room and handed her the pill and glass of water. Hey Kurenai-chan, the pill will stop the hangover, she said. Kurenai gulped the pill down and downed the glass of water. Her hangover immediately subsided. Where am I? She asked her friend. I didn't want you to wake up alone. You're in my bed in the Namake's compound. Anko gave Kurenai a moment to process the information. Kurenai's eyes widened as she looked around the richly decorated room. Come on, Kurenai, Naruto-kun asked if you want to eat dinner with us, said Anko, dragging her red-eyed friend to the dining room. Naruto was setting the table as Kyuubi moved the food onto the table. He looked up and smiled as Kurenai entered with Anko. Ah, Kurenai-san, welcome to my humble home. Make yourself at home. Don't hesitate to ask for anything. A friend of Anko's is a friend of mine. Please sit anywhere you like, he said, smiling at her. Kurenai felt her cheeks heat up as Anko and Kyuubi got a glint in their eyes. Kurenai sat between Anko and Kyuubi. Oh, I forgot to introduce you to Kyuheim. Kurenai, this is Kyuubi. Kyuheim, this is Kurenai, the Jounin sensei of Team 8. Kurenai stiffened at the mention of Kyuubi. Don't worry, Kurenai-san. She's harmless unless you've hurt someone she cares about. The Sandaime already knows, said Anko. Kurenai calmed down a bit as she muttered itadakimasu and dug into her plate. Kurenai's eyes widened as she began to eat with gusto. Who made this? She asked. Kyuubi and Anko pointed to Naruto as Kurenai's mind went a mile a minute. You cooked this, Naruto-kun? No offense, but I thought you only ate ramen, she said, slightly embarrassed. Anko inched closer to Kurenai until she was close to her ear. So it's Naruto-kun now? She asked, teasing her friend. Naruto watched, amused by Kurenai now red cheeks. I meant Naruto-san, she stuttered. It's already Kurenai-san. I don't mind. I learned to cook so I wouldn't have to eat ramen all the time. I can't grow if I eat only ramen, can I now? Kurenai nodded quickly to hide her red face. As the food disappeared, a second Naruto appeared from the kitchen and set down a large pie in the center of the table before dispelling. Naruto-kun's desserts are so good, said Anko, slightly drooling. Naruto cut everyone a generous piece and then served himself. Kurenai's mind started to shut down as she put a piece of the pie in her mouth. So good. I wish Asuma could cook like this and I didn't have to cook for us. Kurenai slapped herself mentally as she pulled feelings for the man who sat across from her. He is gentle, a great cook, a gentleman, and doesn't smoke, cares for his future wives, and put them first. What more could any women ask for? Anko laughed internally as she watched her friend debate with herself. You know Kurenai-chan, Naruto-kun is under CRA and he still needs a few more women, Anko said aloud. Kurenai felt conflicted. She still was in a relationship and didn't use Naruto as a rebound boyfriend. Anko's offer was so enticing though. Naruto was everything she could want in a guy and plus he was popular among women in her age group. She felt awkward for crushing on Naruto, but hell, Anko was her age and Kyuubi was thousands of years old. She made her mind up and decided to give it a try. If Naruto-kun wants me as a wife, I have no objections, she said firmly. Welcome to the family, Kurenai-chan, said Kyuubi, kissing Kurenai on the cheek. How about we go on a date tomorrow for lunch to celebrate Kurenai-chan's induction into the family? Suggested Naruto, getting 3 happy nods. In the meantime, Kurenai-chan and I will go move her belongings into the compound. Anko and Kyuubi nodded happily as they went about cleaning up. Naruto held Kurenai's hand as they went to her apartment to move her stuff into her new home. Kurenai unlocked her apartment door and Naruto created an army of clones to gather her belongings up. In 5 minutes, her apartment was bare and they exited and she handed in her apartment keys and cancelled her contract. They left her apartment and headed for Naruto's home. That evening Kurenai settled in and her fellow girls showed her around the compound. An hour, the girls were relaxing in the onsen that was in the back of the main house. This is so relaxing, said Kurenai as she soaked with Anko and Kyuubi. Too bad Mei couldn't be here. She loves the onsen, said Anko smirking. So who is Mei? She's the Mizukage and one of Naruto's fiancés. Kurenai's eyes widened. He's going to be married to a Kage? Yeah, I'm jealous that I could be Naruto's first wife to be. The girls stayed in a bit longer before exiting and going to the dinner room after toweling off and dressing. The girls had another delicious meal and went to bed. Kurenai went into her room but saw Anko and Kyuubi going into Naruto's room. Why are you going into Naruto-kun's room? She asked. We sleep next to him. He doesn't mind, said Kyuubi winking. Kurenai blushed and pulled a Hinata, poking her index fingers together. Will Naruto-kun mind if I slept in his room? She asked in a small voice. The others dragged her into his room as Naruto exited the attached bathroom, shirtless. He rubbed his hair with a towel as he searched for a shirt. As he pulled the shirt on, he saw Kurenai staring at his abs. He is a god with those abs, she thought, drooling. Naruto pulled his shirt down and climbed into the bed. Like what you saw? He asked in a husky voice. Kurenai could only nod as he slid into the middle of the bed. Since you're the newest here, you get to sleep on his chest for tonight only. We switch nightly, said Anko, seeing Kurenai nod vigorously. She had known that Naruto had an advanced henge that could turn him into a girl for real but didn't expect what she saw next. Naruto called out Kai and her jaw dropped. Naruto was taller than all 3 of them, had a pair of blonde fox ears and 9 fox tails. He looked older and had more muscle. This is his real form, Kurenai. He doesn't show it to just anyone, said Kyuubi as she and Anko latched onto Naruto's arms as Kurenai lay on his chest. A tail wrapped around the girls protectively. Kurenai petted his tail that had coiled around her as she slipped into a slumber. The next morning they all awoke to find Naruto gone. Kurenai pouted as she smelled the pillow Naruto slept on. The girls got up to find Naruto was in the kitchen finishing up breakfast. Good morning, Anko-heim, Kyuubi-heim, Kurenai-heim. Breakfast is almost done, he said with a smile. Kurenai turned red at the heim suffix Naruto added to her name. The girls sat down in front of a plate of eggs, ham, and a little something special that they all liked along with a glass of fresh orange juice. Anko happily ate her dango along with everything on the plate. Kyuubi sliced up her steak and put a bit over everything on her plate on the piece on her fork before eating it. Kurenai ate her takawasa slowly, savoring the flavor as she ate the other things on her plate well, sipping on her orange juice in between bits of different foods. The 3 girls freshened up as they headed in separate ways, Kyuubi staying home, holding down the fort so to speak. Kurenai kissed Naruto on the lips before headed to meet her team. Anko and Naruto jumped into action, ready to train their team to become the top kunoichi. Every day for a month, Naruto and Enko trained the girls strictly. The trio of girls quickly progressed. Ino learned to hold her lightning shield up for 5 minutes and could extend it around allies. Ino had also learned to turn the shield into a wall of lightning, turning her defense jutsu into an offense one. Sakura had dropped her fangirl attitude and had shaped up well. Naruto had created her a seal that he put on her gauntlets, so she could begin to learn how to expel chakra out of her fists and feet to boost her strength. Hinata changed the most. She had become more confident and had excelled in bojutsu, even incorporating into her taijutsu. Naruto had started teaching her his own taijutsu style and combined it with her original one, hoping Hinata could create her own style. "Good morning, Naruto-sensei, Enko-sensei." The girls chorused happily as the couple appeared in a shunshin. "Alright brats, today we are doing some sparring. You won't have to do any of my exercises," said Enko as the trio of genin inwardly sighed in relief. "All of you have to come at me with the intent to kill or you won't be able to touch me," said Naruto while Enko sat in a tree, spectating. The 3 genin came at him in an organized fashion. Ino sought to immobilize him, Sakura to pound him into submission, and Hinata to slow his movements. Naruto grinned as he unsealed his sides and connected them. He watched the girls take out their weapons as well. Naruto rushed toward them, expertly blocking and counterattacking, but made sure that all of his attacks only cut them in non-vital areas. The girls attacked as a team, interchanging who attacked or supported. Naruto shunshin from inside Ino's lightning prison and dodged Sakura's chakra-enhanced fist, which ground a nearby stump into fine particles. Hinata had gotten a hit on Naruto, paralyzing his right hand, but a burst of chakra into a seal on his fingerless glove unsealed his tenketsu. The spar continued for a good 2 hours, after which the team's genin collapsed in exhaustion as Naruto healed them. "Good job, even though you did not land any devastating blows. I am proud that you worked as a team and landed a few solid hits," said Naruto. "Let's go eat my treat." Enko leapt from the tree into Naruto's arms. "Let's meet at the barbecue place," said Enko as she and Naruto disappeared in a tornado of leaves. The girls headed for the restaurant, which was ran by Tsuji's clan. Team 11 had lunched there and left satisfied. Naruto headed back to the complex to find Mei in front of his home. Kyubi was talking with her animatedly. Kurenai, Enko, and Naruto had walked to the compound together. "Mayheim, you're here. What's the occasion?" asked Naruto. "I can't see my fiancé?" said Mei with a mock pout, making Naruto's other girls giggle as Naruto stuttered, trying to form intelligent sentences. Mei kissed him, silencing his attempts. "How about you show me around?" she said in a sexy voice. Alright," said Naruto, composing himself. His 4 girls entered in after him as the gates closed after them. Mei dabbed her mouth with a napkin as she sighed, remembered the dessert she just had. "I will have come more often, Naruto-kun," said Mei as she left the compound. The 3 remaining girls waved goodbye and headed inside for a nice soak in the onsen. As they readied for bed, they heard Naruto turn on the shower in his room and a devilish grin spread across Enko's face. She crept into the bathroom as Naruto was using the shower to clean himself, and then sneaked out in shock. The other girls saw Enko sneak out and asked, "Enko, what were you just doing there?" asked Kyubi. Enko's face lighted up red as she motioned for the girls to come closer. "I snuck a peek of Naruto in the shower. He's huge. I'm not sure if it will even fit," she whispered as the other girls blushed, imagining Naruto in the nude. "How big was he?" asked Kyubi. Enko used her hands to indicate the size and the girls turned red and started to fantasize about being that intimate with him. They heard Naruto shut off the shower and quickly slipped into his bed. Enko slept on top of Naruto tonight, while Kurenai and Kyubi took his arms. They cursed the light in the morning as they rose from bed. They quickly recovered when the aroma of Naruto's cooking filled the air. There was only 4 months until Chunin exams and Enko and Naruto pulled their team harder. They had started D-rank missions today. The girls pulled weeds while Naruto tackled plowing the D-weeded part of the field. 5 D-rank missions later they called it a day. Naruto had told the girls to think of the D-rank missions as ways to train the different aspects of a ninja. The weeding helped with patience and strength. The carrying of cement to and from a store worked on speed. Capturing the stray cows emphasized skill. The shearing of sheep worked on precision. The capturing of Tora the cat, Demon Cat needed a combination of stealth, agility, and smarts. Thankfully the girls used their heads and bought a fish for the cat before they started. Tora ate the fish happily as he was brought back to his owner. Well, before he was in the woman's arms. Miss," said Naruto. "If you hold him gently and squeeze him, he won't feel uncomfortable." The daimyo's wife took the advice to heart, and Tora went home with her purring the whole way. She left Team 11 triple the money she had promised. The Sandaime looked at Naruto while shaking his head. "Only you would have big enough balls to tell the daimyo's wife what to do," he said, earning a giggle from Anko, who knew the cat's discomfort with the portly woman. At the end of month 2, Team 11 had enough D-rank missions to go on a low C-rank mission. Show the client in, please, said the Sandame as the secretary sent in a drunken man with glasses and a bottle of sake in his hands. So these are my protectors? Ha! They all look like weak. Ino used the lightning blade jutsu to cut the bottle at the neck, spilling the contents and shattering the detached part of the bottle. Please do not underestimate us, client-san. We are trained by the best, and we will protect you with our lives, said Ino. Over a 2-month period the girls grew exponentially. Ino had learned 10 D and C rank lightning jutsu, Sakura had accumulated C rank 10 earth jutsu, and Hinata also learned 10 C rank water jutsu. Naruto never played favorites, and taught each girl the same amount of jutsu. Alright then, my name is Tazuna the Super Bridge Builder. I'm trying to build a bridge and I want you to protect me, he said. Naruto turned to his genin students. I would like you bring supplies for a month. If you dismiss my words, you will regret it, not me, said Naruto. We'll meet at the south gate. The Jounin of Team 11 went back home to pack for the mission. 10 minutes later, they all met again with Tazuna at Gate 11. As they headed to Wave Country, Naruto's suspicion of the old man's story rose when they encountered a puddle in the middle of the road. The genin's observation skills had increased under Anko's ruthless instruction. 2 chakra signatures under the puddle, whispered Hinata. Ino readied the lightning prison while Sakura readied to create mud wall to prevent their enemy from escaping. Naruto approached the puddle as 2 men wearing gas masks appeared and seemingly killed him. Even with one of their sensei seemingly dead, Team 11 quickly moved into gear. The 2 men rushed Tazuna only to find themselves blocked by a wall of mud. Before they could react, a bubble of lightning engulfed the duo, preventing them from moving. Hinata moved in swiftly, filling the prison with water from her canteen to wet the inside of the prison, shocking the duo into blissful unconsciousness. Naruto emerged from the trees and quickly tied them up and signaled ANBU to pick them up. Slapping the unconscious men back into the world of the living, he unsheathed a kunai and plunged it into the arm of one of the men. Who sent you and why? Naruto growled, channeling chakra into his eyes, turning them into red slits. We were paid to kill Tazuna, said the unharmed one. Naruto glanced at their gauntlets and recalled their image in the bingo book. Ah, the demon brothers of mist have become Nukenin. Too bad you didn't hear of the ascension of the new Mizukage. Anko turned to a now trembling Tazuna. You said you needed protection. You didn't say that Nukenin were after you, said Anko, causing the bespectacled man to almost wet himself. W-Wave is being pillaged by Gato, and we are too poor to afford the mission pay for a higher rank, said Tazuna shakily. Gato as in the businessman Gato? Asked Naruto. Yes, he pretends to be a legit business owner, but he really is a tyrant who uses bandits and other hired muscle to take over Wave's trading posts and docks. He's ruined our economy and killed anyone who's tried to revolt. Naruto nodded and turned to his students. It is up to you 3 if you want to continue the mission. If not, Anko and I will do it ourselves and ANBU will escort you home. Hinata spoke up first. We can't let a bully push around helpless people. We are ninja and we should help the weak, said Hinata confidently. Ino and Sakura nodded in agreement. Alright then, Tazuna, we will overlook the pay until Wave recovers from this tyranny. We will help Wave rid itself of this parasite, said Naruto. Lead the way to the bridge, Tazuna-san. About 3/4 of the way to Tazuna's work site, Naruto hears tussling from a bush. Tossing a kunai into the brush, he sees a white rabbit jump out. Naruto pulls Tazuna down as Anko pulls herself and their genin to the ground as a large zanbato lodges itself into a tree mere inches from where Tazuna stood. A large man with white bandage around his mouth and nose appeared and pulled out the zanbato from the tree. Hand over the bridge builder and you'll all live another day, said the man shouldering the massive blade. Zabuza Momochi, the demon of bloody mist. Jounin rank and is a Nukenin. You attempted to kill the Mizukage in a failed coup. It's impressive for one of the 7 swordsmen of mist, but not good enough. I'm sure you've heard of me, Zabuza-san, and my fiancé? Said Naruto, unsealing his signature weapon. Ah, Anko Mitarashi, I know you, but this small boy is your fiancé. You surely have a bad choice in men, said Zabuza until he looked at the double-sided side staff Naruto held. You're the Fuionjutsu god of Konoha. I'm surprised though, I thought you were taller. Never mind that, hand over the old man, said Zabuza. Ino, Sakura, and Hinata guard the old man, please. We'll deal with this supposed demon, said Naruto, earning a glare from Zabuza. Alright brat, let's go. I'm not taking trash talk from a punk like you, said Zabuza as he jumped back and created a thick mist. The mist obscured all vision as Zabuza's voice rang through the thick mist. Heart, liver, spleen, lungs, brain, jugular, kidneys, and head are the 8 points of death. What should I choose? Came an eerie voice. Futon, great wind breakthrough, shouted Naruto as the mist was dissipated. Naruto saw 3 Zabuza clones but knew they weren't real. Futon, Wind cutter! Naruto had cut the copies and dispelled them, forcing Zabuza to come out. Zabuza swung his blade down as Naruto parried at the side, causing the Nuke-Nin to jump back. Naruto blasted the Zanbato with a compressed ball of wind, causing Zabuza's sword arm to throw him off balance. Seeing an opening, Anko used her hidden snake hands technique to bind the Nuke-Nin as Naruto slapped a chakra sealing array on the man. Naruto then put another seal array on Zabuza, immobilizing him. Naruto sealed the massive blade into a scroll and shouldered the taller man. How about you come on out now, said Naruto as a hunter Nin with insignia denoting his loyalty to Mist stepped out from the trees. Thank you capturing Zabuza. I have tracked him for days, said a feminine voice behind the blank mask. Normally I would hand him over, but you are not a real hunter Nin, Ninja-san. The Mist insignia for hunter Nin changed with the new Mizukage, who happens to be my fiancé as well, said Naruto as Zabuza's eyes widened. The hunter Nin gave no indication of his surprise, but behind the mask, Zabuza's apprentice was sweating. If you abandon whoever employed you, I will put in a good word with the Mizukage. I'm sure she is willing to take you back as a Mist ninja. Zabuza's mind ran miles per minute. He wouldn't have to dodge hunter Nin for the rest of his natural life. Gaki, give me until tomorrow to answer, said Zabuza. The two former Mist ninja left after Naruto took off the seals. That night Naruto was out enjoying nature when the fake hunter Nin approached him under the guise of picking herbs. Ninja-san, what can I do for you? Asked Naruto. My name is Haku and I have a message from Zabuza for you. Gato will die at the bridge tomorrow, said Haku. I see that my offer was taken. My name is Naruto, by the way, said Naruto. Gato plans on betraying us. We heard him say it while he was drunk. Naruto nodded. Haku-chan, tell him to bring in his army of thugs to the bridge, he said. I'm a boy, Naruto-san. Naruto's sweat dropped. He dresses pretty girly for a boy. Tell Zabuza that he keeps his end of the bargain, I'll keep mine. Haku nodded and walked away in the forest, only to turn around to ask Naruto another question. Do you have precious people, Naruto-san? Haku asked. I do, Haku-san, and I would give my life for them. I see. That is what makes you strong, Naruto-san, said Haku before disappearing into the forest. Naruto entered the house that Tazuna had taken to after the fight with Zabuza. Tsunami had announced supper was on, and he said a quick itadakimasu before slowly eating the delicious meal. Why do you even try? Asked a small boy. What do you mean? Asked Naruto, his attention now on the boy. Gato will only kill you. No one has ever stood up to him and lived. The boy screamed. Inari, be nice to our guests, scolded Tsunami, Inari's mother. Inari, how old do you think I am? Asked Naruto. I don't know, maybe 13, said Inari. Naruto undid his Jounin vest and pulled off his shirt to show Inari scars all over his chest. I was beaten for something I couldn't control, Inari, and I survived. Gato is nothing compared to other people. He hides behind an army, too cowardly to fight himself. I fought through all the pain you have now. I moved on using the love of my precious people. How will you cope? Naruto walked out of the house after he redressed. Anko had seen the scars and didn't flinch. However, all of her students were in tears. He was beaten? Asked the girls in between sobs. Yes, I don't know the story, but then again it's not place to tell it. I'm going to go check on him. Stay here. Anko headed outside to find Naruto on the roof of the house staring at the star-filled sky. Anko sat down next to her lover. You okay, Naruto-kun? She asked. Yeah, I'm fine now, Anko-chan. I'm just angry at how Inari still has family, and he doesn't cherish them. I have you, Kurenai-chan, Kyubi-chan, and Mei-chan, but I don't have any relatives. I would give anything to meet my parents, said Naruto quietly. Anko hugged her fiancé tightly as they looked at the stars before turning in for the night. The morning started with a scream that woke both Jounin. Naruto crept down the stairs to find two thugs holding Inari hostage. Gato needs a hostage, but one will suffice, said a thug. Before he could unsheath his sword, the man's head had leapt off his shoulders into the arms of his partner, who dropped the head in fear as he felt cold metal pressed to his throat. Where's Gato now? Growled out Naruto as Anko ran to the bridge at neck-breaking speed. He's close to the bridge. There is nothing. The man's head joined his partner's on the floor. Sorry for the mess, said Naruto as he burned the corpses with a Katon Jutsu. Naruto headed to the bridge to find Zabuza fighting Anko while Haku was fighting his students. He jumped to Anko's position and unsealed his weapon. What is the meaning of this? Hissed Naruto. Zabuza's eyes looked at him, and then behind him. Play along, whispered Zabuza as Gato arrived with his army of hired muscle. So the demon of the mist couldn't handle some brats? I don't plan to pay you so you can die with them. Boys, leave the girls alive. They'll make good slaves, said a grinning Gato. Naruto's eyes turned into crimson slits as soon as the words left Gato's mouth. Zabuza and Haku turned around and cut down any oncoming thugs while the Genin defended Tazuna. Anko had a kunai in both hands, mutilating any thug within her reach. Haku froze thugs that snuck up on Anko or Zabuza. Zabuza watched in awe as Naruto seemed to become the wind. Futon, shedding winds! Shouted Naruto as everyone in his path was turned into mincemeat. He stood over Gato, who had pissed himself as his remaining guards were reduced to chunks of meat and bone. What was that about leaving the women? Asked Naruto in a slightly demonic tone. Please spare me. I can give you riches, women, power, land. Anything a man desires, said Gato. Really, can you bring back all the people you killed in cold blood? Asked Naruto as his eyes glowed a malignant red. No, then Dai Kami have mercy on your soul. Naruto knocked him to the ground as the villagers arrived, all armed with pitchfork, butcher knives, and other assorted pointy objects. Naruto threw a trembling Gato in front of the angry mob. He motioned for the pitchfork-carrying citizens to pin Gato up like he did to Inari's stepfather. Tazuna had told Team 11 the story after Naruto had gone outside. He's yours. Gato's screams could be heard across town as the mob slowly tortured him to death, then burning his still conscious body. The next morning, Mei was in Wave. Naruto had put a summoning seal on her desk so she could teleport to Naruto's location wherever he was. She was accompanied by a man with an eye patch and the last of the 7 swordsmen of Kiri that had stayed loyal to Mei in the Bloodline Wars. Naruto had sent her a message via said seal and she came immediately with her bodyguards. So this is who you wanted me to pardon, Naruto-kun? Asked Mei as her bodyguards and Zabuza's jaws dropped. You are engaged to Mei Terumi? Asked Zabuza. Yeah, she is the Mizukage, said Naruto as Mei kissed him. Zabuza, you really didn't do anything wrong but try to overthrow a tyrant in Kiri. Just come back to Kiri and we'll reinstate you and your apprentice there, said Mei looking at Haku. See, Haku-kun, you can have a home to look forward to now, said Naruto. Haku looked at Zabuza, who nodded, answering an unasked question. Naruto-kun, I'm actually a girl. Zabuza-sama suggested I hide my gender so others wouldn't exploit it, said Haku as her cheeks reddened. As Naruto stood shocked by the revelation, Haku quickly stepped up to him and kissed him on the cheek, causing Naruto to turn crimson. You spared my precious person and I am in your debt. Anko and Mei's eyes lit up in jealousy. Naruto never let them kiss him before they were dating. Actually, Mei had kissed an unconscious Naruto, but that didn't count. Zabuza and Mei's bodyguards laughed at Naruto's expense. Maybe she get married to you first, Egaki? Said a laughing Zabuza. Naruto's 2 fiancés suddenly had an aura of death around them. Zabuza, said Anko in a sickly sweet voice. Aoi, said Mei with a smile. Shut up or we'll kill you, the two said in sync. The laughing stopped as the guards plus Zabuza turned pale at the thought of being beaten up by the 2 kunoichi. Zabuza, you are pardoned of all crimes of treason and are invited back to Kiri to resume your duties as a member of Kiri's 7 swordsmen. Haku may come with you if you desire, said Mei. Haku, you are released from me. You may go with Naruto if you choose, said Zabuza, earning him a hug from Haku. Egaki, you hurt her and I'll come for you, warned Zabuza as Naruto nodded. Mei headed back to Kiri with Zabuza in tow after kissing Naruto one more time. The day, Naruto created an army of shadow clones to help Tazuna finish the bridge with his workers. As Team 11 left with Haku in tow, all of Wave's citizens came to see them off. As they disappeared from sight, Tazuna wondered out loud. What should we name this bridge? He asked. The Great Naruto Bridge, said Inari as his eyes lit up. The crowd roared in approval. Team 11 arrived home a day later, and the Izumi and Hagane grinned at Naruto's return. I see you got another woman in tow. What's your name, beauty? Asked Izumi. Haku looked at him with cold eyes. My name is none of your concern. I am Naruto's girl, said Haku, hugging Naruto's arm, putting on a mock-scared face as she told Naruto that he was hitting on her. Naruto laughed as Izumi had waterfall tears streaming down his face. Anko laughed at the Chunin's attempt to flirt with Haku. Izumi, haven't you learned the last time you flirted with Mei who was at the gate? Asked Anko, laughing at the memory. Mei had told her when she visited Konoha how one of the gate guards tried to hit on her. Izumi froze and then an aura of depression surrounded him. Naruto, you lucky dog, she was so hot too, muttered Izumi as he made marks in the ground with his fingers. Somewhere, a funeral bell rang for Izumi. We gathered today to mourn for Izumi's loss, said a group of Chunin. Well, we can't waste any time. The Hokage is expecting us, said Naruto as he and his team ran to the tower, with Haku following. Sarutobi sat at his desk surrounded by 3 shadow clones who read all the paperwork as he read his favorite student's book of smut. Naruto entered with his team, causing Sarutobi to quickly hide his book in a hidden drawer. Naruto laughed as Sarutobi quickly composed himself and looked at Naruto and Anko. Anko had an amused look across her face and Naruto shook his head with a smile. Gigi, you thought we were your secretary? Asked Naruto as Sarutobi paled and nodded. His secretary would burn any of the orange books she saw. Team 11 back from mission and reporting for duty, said Naruto. Sarutobi saw Haku and decided Naruto had an explanation and dismissed the genin. Who is this beautiful girl you have with you, Naruto? Asked the Sandaime. Her name is Haku and she wants to become a medical ninja for Konoha, said Naruto. He retold Hiruzen the entire story as the old Hokage listened. So you're an orphan from Kiri. Do you have any dijutsu or anything similar? Asked the Sandaime. Haku formed ice saban between her fingers and handed them to the Sandaime. I see you have the Hayatan bloodline. The last clan I heard of having a similar ability was Kiri's Yuki clan, but they're gone now, said Hiruzen sadly. So you are Naruto's new fiancé? Haku only nodded as she hugged Naruto's arm. Well, here's your hideate. Welcome to Konoha, Haku. I'll have someone from the hospital train you in the arts of medical jutsu, said Sarutobi. What rank is she roughly? A chunin, old man, said Anko. Sarutobi grabbed a chunin vest from a locker in the corner of the room and tossed it to Haku. Congratulations, Haku, you are promoted to chunin. The three bowed and left as the Sandaime pulled out the orange book. Naruto, Anko, and Haku entered Naruto's compound as Haku looked around in awe. You live in this place? Asked the stunned Haku. Yeah, the place is huge. I'm sure Kureheim, Kyuheim, and Ankoheim will show you around, said Naruto as they entered the mansion. Welcome back, said Kyubi and Kurenai, taking turns kissing their man. Kurenai saw Haku first and introduced herself. My name is Kurenai and that is Kyubi, said Kurenai, hugging her newly inducted fellow wife-to-be. Kyubi kissed Haku on the cheek and grabbed her hand, dragging her through the house. Kurenai followed behind them as Anko lay down on Naruto's bed as Naruto gave her the best massage she ever felt. The other girls finished up giving Haku the tour and went into Naruto's room where Anko was moaning from the almost erotic massage that Naruto gave Anko. Anko got up from the bed reluctantly and motioned for Haku to lie down and remove her shirt and bindings. As Haku slowly unwound her chest bindings, Anko and Kurenai's jealousy of Haku's bust line skyrocketed. Both women had an impressive C cup, but Haku definitely had a D cup that looked like a B cup under the bandages. Kyubi had the biggest bust line of them all. DD cup followed closely by Mei's impressive D cup that was a bit bigger than Haku, were tied at a C cup. Both women felt they were not good enough for Naruto, but he quickly assured them that regardless of their body shape and proportions, he loved them all equally. Haku lay down as Naruto started the massage. Not wanting to leave anyone out, he created several clones that took the others to their rooms and massaged them as well. The girls' cries of pleasure filled the mansion, resonating off the walls. A group of women walked by and heard the moans and quickened their pace. Their cheeks reddened as naughty thoughts filled their heads. Naruto already had a fan club and it just got a bit larger. When they all came down from their massage-induced states, the girls all went on a date with Naruto, taking him on a shopping trip with them to find some new clothes for Haku. As they went through different stores to find different garments for their newest family member, Naruto ran into a nearby jewelry store, leaving a few clones to hold the bags of clothing that accumulated during the trip. He entered the store and stood in line to speak to the clerk. As he walked up to the desk, he was greeted with adoring eyes as she held out Naruto's book that he had published during the undercover mission at the academy. Anko had leaked out that Naruto was the author, and he was flooded with women at the jewelry store asking for a signature. After he finished, he asked the clerk about custom jewelry pieces. She led him to the back where he spoke to the artisan who did custom orders. After giving him his orders and specifications, Naruto paid the man in advance and was told to come back in a few days. Naruto exited the store and caught up to the girls and was dragged into a lingerie store. The women around him giggled at his crimson cheeks as he was forced to give an opinion on intimate where the girls chose for Haku. As he paid for the clothes and they left, the council was in disorder. The demon shouldn't be allowed to have wives, shouted the civilian council as the shinobi council shouted back at them. He is the son of the Yondaime, and you abused him. Now he is no longer under your power, and you revert back to your old ways, shouted Hayashi. I don't see you trying to help me out, retorted the councilman as Hayashi hung his head in shame for his past transgressions. Enough. Haku agreed to be his wife, so it is settled, shouted the Hokage, blasting the civilian council with ki. The demon should surrender the new girl to Sasuke-kun so he can rebuild his clan, said a fat merchant. He didn't have time to recant as his head left his body and tumbled onto the table, causing the civilian council to regurgitate their lunches on the ground. Naruto appeared from behind the man and went to stand next to the Sandaime. Your law is still active, right? Asked Naruto, getting a nod from Sarutobi. The council, what shit are you starting up now? Asked Naruto, unsealing his double sides. You already have many powerful women as wives. Why not let the Uchiha have one to rebuild their clan? Said Danzo. The old warhawk found himself at the receiving end of one of Naruto's sides. Clan rule states you must become a Jounin to start a clan or rebuild one, and he is not even a Chunin yet. Don't give me that BS, Danzo-san. I suggest you turn off your stolen Sharingan before I remove your head from its rightful place, said Naruto in a calm tone. Danzo knew he was in deep shit now with the revealed secret of his bandaged eye and immediately called forth his root ninja to kill Naruto. His look of satisfaction became a look of horror when he found all of his root bodyguards killed, pinned to the wall with spears of ice. Haku-chan is not the only one who can use Hayatan. I also have mastered Hayatan thanks to Haku-chan's tutelage. Your schemes are uncovered and your route is finished. I'm sure you remember your best agent Sai. Well, Gigi here has got reports from him. As of now, your attempts in the past and present to kill me and now. Die, traitor. With that, Naruto channeled chakra into his sides and cut off Danzo's injured arm. Danzo cursed as he unsheathed a hidden blade from his cane and charged Naruto, who fought him off. I should have been Hokage instead of Sarutobi. He's too soft. You should have been killed at day 1. Spat Danzo venomously. Watch where you spat, traitor. Your saliva might be as potent as your words, joked Naruto. Danzo blasted him with a wind jutsu only to find Naruto was gone. Danzo tried to turn around but found he was unable to move. I'm not a Fuionjutsu master for nothing. Fuionjutsu, Bloodline Destroyer. Danzo's one surviving Sharingan eye and cells from the first Hokage in his body were destroyed. Inbyu, take this traitor away and lock him up. I want him prepared for execution tomorrow morning, said the Sandaime looking at Danzo with cold eyes. Yes, sir. The Anbu carried an immobilized Danzo to Anbu prison. Naruto unsealed the scroll and tossed it to the Hokage. Found this on a root ninja I killed a few moments ago, said Naruto. The Sandaime's face grew red with rage as his hands shook. I want him executed tonight instead. The remaining Anbu moved into action. Foolish student, you will die this time for sure, Orochimaru. With Danzo dead, Anbu found the root base with Sai's assistance, as he was a former member. They salvaged the place before destroying it. Danzo had been communicating with Orochimaru, who was now plotting somewhere in Rice Country to destroy Konoha. Danzo had come into an agreement with Orochimaru stating that if he could become the new Hokage, he would allow Orochimaru people to experiment on, starting with Naruto. Hiruzen had called back Jiraiya and asked him to take Naruto with him to find Tsunade. Naruto was met at the gate by his 4 Tsun wives and each kissed him goodbye before he embarked on a journey with Jiraiya. As the two embarked towards Tsunade's last known location, Jiraiya struck up a conversation with Naruto. Hey Naruto, how about learning one of your father's greatest creations? Asked Jiraiya. Which one? Asked Naruto, spiking Jiraiya's interest. How about learning the Rasengan, Naruto? It was one of his best techniques, said Jiraiya. He formed a sphere of chakra in his palm and hit a rock with the Rasengan, showing Naruto its destructive powers. There are 3 stages to learning this: rotation, power, and shape manipulation. Jiraiya tossed Naruto a water-filled balloon. Jiraiya began to explain to Naruto that he had to rotate the water inside when he heard a pop. Is it supposed to explode, right, Erosenin? Asked Naruto. Don't call me that. Here, the next state is power. Pop this rubber ball the same way as you did with the balloon. Jiraiya tossed Naruto a rubber ball and watched in fascination as Naruto made the rubber ball explode violently. Jiraiya then handed Naruto a flat balloon. The key here is to combine the first 2 stages together but hold it in a spherical shape. As they entered Tenzuka village, Naruto continued to work on the last part of the Rasengan. Naruto, I'm going to have a look around, so here's some money for a room at the hotel ahead of us. Ask for room number 45, said Jiraiya as he went off in a different direction. He's probably going to go have fun or peek. Naruto entered the hotel and did what Jiraiya had asked of him, booking room 45. Naruto threw his stuff onto one of the beds before he sat on the floor and spread out some of the work he brought to keep him busy. He was working on a seal that blocked any Dijitsu from working if it was pointed at Naruto. He finished it, and quickly cut himself with a kunai and mixed a drop of blood into the sealing ink he brought. He drew the seal onto his skin, on his left forearm. An hour later, Naruto heard a loud knock. Assuming Jiraiya had come back from his drunken debauchery, he opened the door, but instead of the Sannin, 2 men with straw hats and a cloak with red clouds on it stood in front of Naruto. Naruto-kun, I'm afraid you will have to come with us, said the taller of the 2 men. So you're Itachi? I assume Sushi over there is Kisame? Said Naruto, getting a growl from the shark man. That's right. Itachi, can I cut his legs off? He doesn't need them to live, said Kisame. Naruto's eyes narrowed as he quickly unsealed his staff and jumped out the window. The 2 men quickly followed suit. Naruto ran to the back of the hotel where it was deserted. Alright, since you 2 seem to be up to no good, you have to kill me first, said Naruto, twirling his side staff. Fuionjutsu, paralyzing seal. Kisame found he was unable to use his arms to wield his sword. He decided to let Itachi handle this one. Don't make me use force, said Itachi, turning on his Sharingan. Ah, so you have the Mangekyo Sharingan. Let's see if my Fuionjutsu is sufficient, said Naruto. Itachi didn't show any outward emotion, but inside he was panicking. I can't see him at all. It is as if Naruto has disappeared from sight. I'm still here. Let's see you try to hit what you can't see. Tsukuyomi, said Itachi in a calm tone. He then suddenly clenched his eyes shut as blood seeped from the corners of his sockets. The seal I have on counters any attempts by any Dijutsu user to see me while their Dijutsu is active. It casts a blinding light that burns the retina. Prolonged exposure will cause permanent blindness, explained Naruto. Itachi leapt to Kisame's location and grabbed a hold of him. We are clearly outclassed, Kisame. We must retreat for now. With that the two disappeared. Jiraiya appeared shortly after their disappearance. Oh, you decide to show up after they left, said Naruto sarcastically. Sorry about that, Naruto, but I found Tsunade. She's in a bar not far from the hotel, said Jiraiya. As they walked towards the bar Tsunade was spotted in, Naruto couldn't help but wonder why Itachi had defected. He was a loyal ninja of Konoha. He concluded that the Sandaime could shed further light on the subject. He would have to wait on that matter. The slug Sannin had appeared and Konoha needed her. The two walked into the bar and quickly spotted Tsunade and her apprentice. Jiraiya! Exclaimed the surprised Tsunade and Shizen, her apprentice. Tsunadeheim, it's been a long time. The village needs you, said Jiraiya. I'll never step foot in that village again. I've lost too many precious people. Dan and Iwaki died for Konoha, their dreams of being Hokage dashed. I will not go back, she said. The pervert didn't say anything about being Hokage, said Naruto appearing at Jiraiya's side. I still refuse. The Hokage asked us to bring you back. Orochimaru's been spotted and he plans to destroy Konoha. The old man is a fool for not killing him before. It is not my problem, said Tsunade. Naruto slapped her across the face as her apprentice and Jiraiya gasped. You disrespectful woman, the Hokage is no fool. He and the other Hokage before him dedicated their lives to the village. My father died so that the village would continue to prosper. However, they couldn't respect his dying wish. That is not the point, and Gigi just asked for you to come back, said Naruto. Tsunade's face turned red with rage as she stood up towering over Naruto. Balzaha brat? Let's take this outside, she said. Tsunade and Naruto went outside followed by a nervous Jiraiya and Shizen. Hey kid, you don't know what you are getting into. Tsunade is one of the Sannin, said Jiraiya. And yet I outclass you in Fuionjutsu pervy sage, said Naruto grinning at Jiraiya. Alright Tsunade, I'll make you a bet. If you win, I'll pay off your debts and you are free to leave. Jiraiya and I will forget we ever saw you. However, if I win, you will come with us to Konoha. I will also pay for your debts. I can't have one of the Sannin owing money. Tsunade smirked. The deal was just too good to pass up. Done, brat. I will only have to use one finger to stop you. Naruto nodded and signaled Jiraiya to start the match. As Jiraiya yelled for them to start, Naruto dashed forward, using his mastery of Suiton Jutsu to manipulate his seal, drawing ink out of its container into the air. Fuionjutsu, Wind Palm Strike Array! Yelled Naruto. He manipulated the ink into a floating array. Tsunade's eyes widened as she was blasted with a concentrated stream of wind that pushed her back as she tried to secure herself to the ground with chakra. Her feet dug trenches as she slid back. She came to a stop and a tick appeared as she rushed toward Naruto. As she closed in, she moved to flick Naruto's forehead. Naruto smirked as he created a perfect Rasengan and infused a small amount of water chakra into it. Rasengan, crashing tides, said Naruto as he thrust the sphere into Tsunade's abdomen. Tsunade grunted and her eyes widened with surprise as Jiraiya's and Shizen's eyes also widened. Kid tricked me? He already knew the Rasengan, thought Jiraiya as he watched his teammate crash into the trees behind her. Tsunade quickly got up from her crater among the trees and charged at Naruto, a fist cocked back to deliver a chakra-enhanced blow. Naruto created another seal array, this time fusing it to his skin. Fuionjutsu, Force Absorption Array. Tsunade's fist landed on Naruto's stomach but nothing happened. The seal Naruto drew on himself glowed a bright red before it dissipated into nothing. Naruto rubbed the place where Tsunade had hit him. See, not a scratch, said Naruto. You lose. Naruto suddenly collapsed unconscious as Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Shizen rushed to his side. Ruto! Naruto! Naruto's eyes cracked open as he groaned. Did you get the idea of the ninja that hit me? Said Naruto jokingly. Tsunade stood over Naruto with amused eyes. What keeps you going, brat? She asked. My precious people. I'm engaged to 5 girls. If I was to die, they would bring back from the dead and kill me themselves, said Naruto chuckling. Anko-chan would probably torture me for days. Tsunade's eyebrows rose as she looked at Naruto then at Jiraiya. He's married to 5 women? She asked. Yeah, said Jiraiya. 5 women who are all considerably older than him by at least 3 years or more. Tsunade's eyes widened when she looked at Naruto. What do you aspire to be? She asked gently. I will be Hokage just like my father and become Konoha's greatest Hokage in history, said Naruto beaming. Tsunade suddenly saw her brother and Dan in Naruto as he said that. Tsunade asked Jiraiya and Shizen to leave as she began to a medical jutsu to scan Naruto's body for any anomalies. Why do you want to be Hokage so bad, Naruto? She asked as she continued her work. I want to bring peace to everyone, including you, Tsunade-chan, said Naruto. I'm sorry for slapping you before, but the past is the past, and you need to move on. You are only hurting yourself and I have been there. I want to save you from yourself. Tsunade finished up her examination of Naruto, and he sat up. Quickly sealing the room from intrusion and sounds that might leak out with a few hand signs, Naruto sat next to Tsunade on the bed. Tsunade-chan, I would like to give you a second chance at life. A literal rebirth. Will you accept? Asked Naruto. Tsunade sat quietly as she pondered the offer. On the inside, she was ecstatic about getting another chance to be young again, but memories of Dan and Nawaki surfaced. What about Dan and my brother? She asked in almost a whisper. I'm sure Dan and your brother wouldn't want you to be sad and lonely. I'm sure they want you to move on, said Naruto, touching Tsunade's hand. They want you to be happy. So let me make you happy so you can carry on their memory. Naruto made several strange hand seals that Tsunade had never seen before. Fukusanekusa no Riraizu, rebirth, said Naruto before he kissed Tsunade on the lips. Tsunade's eyes opened wide as Naruto kissed her, but she soon melted into the kiss. The two started to glow white and Tsunade closed her eyes shut as the light became a blinding white. Tsunade woke up the next morning with Shizen sitting next to her asleep in a chair next to her. Naruto had disappeared but left a note. Drop your henge. Naruto. Tsunade cancelled her henge as she went into the bathroom. Her mouth could not form words as she touched her face. Her wrinkles had disappeared. Her hair had become as soft as it was when she was 25. All signs of aging had disappeared and she had reverted to the age of 25. Shizen had entered the bathroom to check on her master and was equally speechless. What happened to you? Asked Shizen when she finally was able to form words. Naruto, said Tsunade as she continued to stare at her image in the mirror. Naruto was outside working on the wind-natured Rasengan with Jiraiya. Why did you ask me teach you to learn the Rasengan when you already knew it? Asked Jiraiya as Jiraiya stopped his work. I already learned the Rasengan, but without your help I would not have been about to power down the Rasengan and not hurt Tsunade-chan, said Naruto. He created the same water-natured Rasengan and thrust it against a large boulder. The rock shook violently and was suddenly ground to dust from the Rasengan thrust into its center. Jiraiya looked at the rock, then remembered the Rasengan that Naruto used on Tsunade. So that's why you wanted my training. I see what you did. You learned to minimize damage while still keeping it from destabilizing and seriously hurt either of you, said Jiraiya as he thought back to the fight. Right, but even though I have figured that out, I can't do the wind-natured Rasengan yet. The last time I tried this one, I had to get Q-chan to heal me. My whole arm was riddled with countless cuts and they all stung for weeks, said Naruto. Jiraiya pictured a wind-natured Rasengan in his mind and came up with a few ideas to stabilize it. When you put wind chakra into the Rasengan, what kind of rotation did you put on it? The Sannin asked. I think I rotated it in multiple directions. Oh shit, that's why I never got it. It stopped the Rasengan from rotating and destabilized on me. Right, so if you let the wind-natured chakra move in the same direction as the Rasengan, then it will continue to rotate without you killing yourself. Tsunade came upon the pervert, as she entitled Jiraiya and Naruto in a discussion about the Rasengan. Hey Naruto-kun, said Tsunade as her apprentices and Jiraiya's jaw dropped at the affectionate suffix she added to Naruto's name. Jiraiya snapped out of his daze and his mind almost stopped functioning. Tsunade was looked as if she had become 25 again. He watched in jealousy as she went up to Naruto and pecked the blonde on his lips, turning his face a scarlet red as she giggled. You're so lucky, brat. Even I, the great Jiraiya, could not do that. Tsunade saw the look on his face and as if she read his mind said, it's because Naruto-kun knows how to treat a woman right, not asked her to reveal herself. Tsunade let that sink in as she turned her attention back to Naruto. Jiraiya had streams of tears coming from his eyes. I'm sorry Tsunade-chan for kissing you, but that was the only way to use that jutsu. I apologize if I have offended you, said Naruto bowing before her. Tsunade felt smug on the inside as she denied Jiraiya. Jiraiya cried waterfall tears as she kissed Naruto on the cheek, telling him that it was okay if it was him. As promised, I'll pay for your debt. Could you show me to the nearest casino? Asked Naruto as Tsunade nodded. The four of them entered a casino Tsunade had frequented. So this called blackjack? Asked Naruto as the dealer handed him 2 cards. Yes, to win your cards must equal 21. If you go higher you bust and lose. If you are lower and someone has higher cards within the range you lose, explained Tsunade. Then I win right, 21, said Naruto laying his cards down. The other players looked at Naruto in shock as he racked in the cash. Naruto had bet 10 Ryo and had gotten the pot of 20,000 Ryo. Naruto left the table and carried his Ryo to a roulette table. Tsunade again explained the rules to Naruto, who nodded a picked one number, putting his chips he got from exchanging all his cash. And number 15 red wins, said the man spinning the roulette wheel in disbelief. Naruto played once more and took the 50,000 he earned to the poker table. It seemed that Naruto had lady luck on his side. Every game or slot machine he sat at rained money on him. The owner of the casino came out when he got a call that someone was cleaning the casino out, and challenged him for the now 1 million Ryo Naruto had accumulated in a mere hour of playing. I got a deal for you, kid. You play a game of poker with me, and if you win I'll give you the deed to this casino, the hotel next to this place, and the trendy kimono shop I own here. You lose and the only penalty you pay is the cash you won tonight. Deal? Said the owner, confident the rookie would lose. Deal. The owner set up a game and had one of his dealers deal the cards to him and Naruto. Four of a kind, said the owner. What is this called? Asked Naruto as he laid down his cards. Tsunade gasped quietly as the owner nearly pissed himself. Naruto had gotten a royal flush and had beaten him. Here you go, kid. Keep the cash. You are now the owner of this casino, the hotel next to it, and the kimono store. Don't worry about me. I got another casino in a nearby town. My staff is now yours. Thanks for the great game. I have never played against anyone as good as you are. Naruto tucked the deeds into a pouch on his pants and asked Tsunade to lead him to another casino. This time they were in another close village playing in a huge casino with multiple floors. Unknown to Naruto and his group, this casino grew large because several of the players were professionals that worked for the casino and cheated with ease to win the casino billions of Ryo. They had met their match today. Naruto followed the same routine he used at the last casino. By the end of the day, he had cleaned them out. Several owners in the town had hands in the dirty business and feared Naruto's lucky streak they thought he had. They all challenged him and each one lost their businesses to Naruto. One owner had a hand in the operation to help out his ailing family. Naruto refused to take his business from him. Naruto had given him the deed from a rival store that had stolen their customers by sending in their employees disguised as customers to spy on their prices and lower theirs. The man thanked Naruto immensely while Naruto said that he was doing because he couldn't bear to see anyone suffer. The group entered Konoha a month after embarking on a search for Tsunade. Tsunade came up with a cover story for her appearance that her sensei could tell the council without them hounding Naruto. Since the Senju compound was destroyed in the Kyuubi attack 13 years ago, she opted to stay with Naruto, who had offered her and Shizen a room to themselves. Naruto, Tsunade, and Shizen entered Naruto's compound after reporting to the Sandaime. Naruto's fiancés surrounded him, and each took a turn kissing him affectionately. Welcome back, Naruto-kun, they said in unison. Oh girls, we have 2 people who will be staying here from now on. Tsunade-chan, Shizen-chan, these are my fiancés, well, the ones who live in Konoha. I'm engaged to the Mizukage, but that's a story for another day. The woman with the gorgeous purple hair is Anko. The red-eyed goddess is Kurenai. Haku is my ice queen. The last woman is my gorgeous crimson-haired beauty Q-chan. I'm sure you remember her, said Naruto. Before his new guests could flinch, he explained from the beginning. After he finished speaking, both his new guests were feeling more comfortable around the queen of the Biju. Girls, if you would be so kind to show our lovely guests around the house. We don't want them looking for the restroom or the onsen in vain. The girls escorted their new housemates around the mansion while Naruto fixed up their rooms. The girls finished up the tour and led them upstairs where Naruto waited. Tsunade-chan, your room is this one. Shizen, yours is right across from Tsunade-chan's. Dinner is at 6:30, so be sure to come down to the dining room, said Naruto after he finished showing them their rooms. The 2 women settled in and went about their routine until a shout announcing dinner was ready reached them. They headed to the dining room to see Naruto and Kyuubi putting platters of exquisite on the table. Anko sat next to Naruto with Kyuubi to his right with Shizen and Tsunade sitting across from Naruto. They all said itadakimasu before they dug into their food. Tsunade and Shizen commented the food upon taking a bite of the food they put on their plate. Who made this? Asked Tsunade as she ate akashiyaki. It's a dumpling with octopus in it. It's made from an egg-rich batter and dipped into dashi before eating. Dashi is a thin fish broth. Naruto's the cook around here. He makes great desserts, said Anko drooling. Kurenai sighed as Anko snapped out of her stupor and wiped the saliva that had made its way down her chin. Naruto just looked on with an amused smile on his face. Tsunade, Shizen entered the onsen and found Naruto's fiancés relaxing in the large onsen. They entered in and relaxed as well. Kyubi was the first to start the conversation. I assume your appearance is due to Naruto. Tsunade looked at Kyubi with a look of interest. Yes, but how did you know? The jutsu he used on you was part of a collection of jutsu from Yuzu he found. Apparently, Kami favored the Uzumaki clan and bestowed upon select members of the clan the ability to use the Phoenix Release. Just like a phoenix is reborn continuously, the Phoenix Release allows the user to reverse anyone's age as if they had reborn again. Not that you would have actually needed if you're here for what I think you are here for, said Kyubi smirking as Tsunade turned red as Shizen looked at her master curiously. You're right. I love Naruto. He saved me from myself. He showed me that life was worth living even after my precious people died. I just love him, said Tsunade quietly as her cheeks reddened. The girl smirked as Kyubi smiled. I see. There is still space left to become one of his wives, said Anko out loud. Really? Shouted Tsunade until she realized she shouted and composed herself. I mean, it is an interesting proposition. Kurenai, Haku, and Anko were giggling at Tsunade's outburst. Naruto is required to marry 8 girls before he turns 21. If you would like to become his fiancé, I'm sure he won't mind. The way he acts around you already told me his answer. So what is yours? Said Kyubi. Yes, I want Naruto's wife, said Tsunade with conviction. Welcome to the family then. You are more than welcome to sleep in Naruto's room. We all do. I'll leave my spot tonight so you can sleep on his chest, said Kurenai. Since Naruto's harem had grown, only 4 girls fit on the bed. 2 beside Naruto, 1 lying on top of him, and 1 lying across his thighs. So when Mei came to visit, the girl who slept on Naruto's chest most recently slept in their room so Mei could slept on his chest. Not that they minded. Haku turned out to be a great seamstress, and she made everyone a foxy plushy doll of Naruto which the girls all slept with when not in Naruto's room. Haku handed Tsunade one, and the Sannin tucked it beneath her pillow for the nights she slept in her room. Tonight she would get to sleep in Naruto-kun's room. The next morning she woke from her slumber next to the 3 other girls that slept with Naruto on his bed. She rubbed her eyes as she sat up and replaced her clothes with casual wear. She wandered to the kitchen and found Naruto at the stove cooking breakfast. Good morning, Tsunade-chan, could you wake the others? Breakfast is ready, said Naruto as he set the dishes on the table. The girls all headed for the dining room after Tsunade roused them. Tsunade looked at her plate, then at everyone else's as she savored her food. Naruto-kun went out of his way to make breakfast, and even added a small side of what each of us like. Tsunade finished eating and helped Naruto clear the table. Just then, Anko appeared from the foyer. There's a NBU at the door asking for you too, she said as she headed out the IT department. Tsunade and Naruto went outside and saw ANBU at his gate. The Hokage wants to talk to us? Asked Naruto as the ANBU nodded and disappeared in a shunshin. Naruto and Tsunade appeared inside the Sandame's office. The Sandame looked up from his Ika book to find an amused Naruto and a fuming Tsunade. Sensei, I can't believe you turned into a pervert, said Tsunade. Sarutobi quickly hid the book to avoid the wrath of Tsunade. As of now, we have discovered Danzo was a traitor and have executed him. In doing so and raiding his root headquarters, we found he has been in contact with Orochimaru and had planned a coup. I'm old now and I would like you Tsunade to become the next Hokage. Naruto meets all the qualifications, but he is the sensei for a team. It has to be you. Jiraiya refused the job and the only other person that is qualified is Kakashi, said Hiruzen. I accept the job. After all, I can't let Kakashi take the job. From what Naruto-kun told me last night, he's chronically late, said Tsunade hugging Naruto. Naruto, you lucky dog. I see why Jiraiya was jealous. Anyone would gladly die to have the chance to be smothered in those pillows. Sarutobi quickly turned away, pretending to pick up a dropped document to wipe the blood that dripped from his nose. The secret to paperwork is shadow clones, Tsunade-chan, whispered Naruto to Tsunade. Tsunade kissed Naruto on the cheek in response. The 3 went through the technical work and Tsunade became officially the 5th Hokage of Konoha. Sarutobi told Tsunade his plan to fool Orochimaru into thinking that he was still the Hokage. He would attend in his Hokage robes and Tsunade would stay at his side dressed as she normally was. When the time came, they would kill Orochimaru together. Naruto proposed to create seals that would allow them to sap the snake Sennin's strength provided he remained in the Kage box when the fight went down. The seals would go around the area and would be attuned to just Orochimaru's DNA. Since Naruto had some from the curse seal he removed from Anko, he could make the seals. Tsunade and Sarutobi agreed, saying the seals would give them an advantage. Gigi, if we know about Orochimaru's plot, what makes you sure he doesn't know about us hatching a counterattack plan? Asked Naruto, causing the Sandame to stop and think. We might have spies among us. We need to act like we don't know what's going to happen. That way we have the element of surprise on our side, said Naruto. Naruto had ordered special bracelets and necklaces for his fiancées a while ago. He had just picked up the order he put in for Tsunade and decided it was time to give them to his girls. So when he got home and all the girls had come home, he pulled out the small boxes they were in and hid them in the rooms of his fiancées under their pillows, knowing they would find them. And they did. They came squealing, wearing their new accessories, and laid kisses all over his face. Naruto never bought jewelry for its ability to enhance one's beauty. He bought battle jewelry that had a purpose. For Anko, he had bought her a golden bracelet, but hidden within it was a small blade that extended from it when muscles in the wrist were moved and touched the trigger on the inside. Kurenai received a pair of earrings that allowed her store small amounts of chakra inside. The combined pools were capable of refilling her reserves to a third of its full capacity.